dual halberds. Panda Man gonna find that R&B coming in off of the dual hallies. He finds it twice, and all of a sudden that armor advantage is not much of an advantage there for Action. Action doesn't look like he's got the shield pots to heal up, so he's gonna be forced into a white armor swap here just to keep the fight going here with Panda Man. And Panda Man very happy about this. Ooh, coming in there with the LMB off of those dual halberds will have the pot to reset again. Action trying to find a health pot, but again, I don't believe he has any shield pots here in the tank, so he's got to take this fight one way or the other. Trying to come back in. He catches him on the upper there. He catches him again. Looks for the scale rush, misses it, but will go back to the neutral here. Loses out to the 0.9 there, but we will find his own coming off of the R&B from the dual halberds. Will pick up that elimination and a purple set of armor. A huge start there for OUG's Panda Man, as we see Zell go down to 5-2-1's Unique. Unique continuing the fight here with JDG's Chu Zhang as well, in quite a good position off the back of this. Still using white dual halberds here, but got a little bit of an armor advantage there into JDG's Chu Zhang. Chu Zhang looking for it, but the R&B coming in off the dual halberds going to do a lot of favors for him. Unique with the F available. GG Shah going to show up, and now Unique wanting to break away from this fight. Shah going to pressure in onto this. He wants to see if he can pick up the elimination. The ultimate going to come in to save Chu Zhang there, and Unique wants to turn back onto this fight.
Absolutely, he does not want to let Chu Zhang get away with this engagement not going so well for him. He does cut Noise completely, though. I think he might have gotten away with it. He actually gets out without having lost any more health. He just completely cuts the Noise. No healing, no nothing, waiting, biding his time. Very nicely done with the foresight to think, hey, they're going to be listening out for that heal. I'm just not going to do anything at all and wait. And it pays off, and he comes away with his life, fortunately. Spider over here in the zone. So speaking of Firefly cages, Spider, where he just was, it looks as though he did get taken down, but he has gone over here, rezzed up in this area, and gone over to a Firefly cage that spawns right close to where he just was. But hey, there we are, the fight between Mike and Spider. Spider initially in a very, very advantageous situation, but he doesn't panic, and he turns around with almost exactly the same combo, horizontal uppercut into that weapon swap, and Mike ends up coming out on top.
Yeah, Mike there utilizing that vertical terrain, of course, to his advantage. He's able to hit him down the hill so they didn't get the follow-up into the weapon swap there for that huge damage. Turning now to OUG's Panda Man. Panda Man still in a great position. He was able to get that purple armor from that earlier engagement. Now a fight breaking out between AOW's Mike and XCG's Wang Liang. The pillar invested here by Mike on to Wang Liang. Wang Liang backing away. He doesn't want to take the fight near the pillar. This is clearly Wang Liang trying to bait Mike away from that pillar. He does not want to take the fight there. He knows it's a bad situation. The Furin going to come up there. The ultimate activated. How many charges does he have? We will see. The first one will connect onto Mike. Mike trying to get back to the pillar full on here. He has managed to take it all the way back there, and Wang Liang doesn't really want to take this fight on top of this pillar. And sure enough, Wang Liang, buddy, you baited him away from the pillar. As soon as he went back, I would not have taken the fight. I know you committed the ultimate there, but this is not going in the way you wanted to. The third party coming in as well from Zell. Zell able to pick up the elimination and takes it out away from Mike. Panda Man in the kill feed, also going to pick one up on to Frostivus. Mike going very low, and Zell actually in such a power position here because he's going to be coming in with the ultimate. Mike, no pillar available to him whatsoever, and Zell knows that. So he's going to start looking to take this fight. Mike wants to turn onto it, but this could be very dangerous for him. Zell looking for the parry. Will find it this time around. Mike going to be forced to use the F, and now they're in a really good position. Mike turns back, finds the no ult pillar here. If he wants to continue the chase, he has to chase out of the no ult zone. Zell looking to come in here. Will walk into that katana. LMB is able to back away, find a little bit of damage, but Mike really in control of this fight here. Those musket shots doing a ton of damage. The third party getting ready to come through. It's going to be OUG's Panda Man looking to make something happen. We will see the ult come through and successfully hit onto Mike and Panda Man. Zell so very low here. Mike doesn't really care about the state of that ultimate onto their back here. Zell with no ult charge left in the tank here at 55%, sending him all the way back down to 8%, and now going to be forced to move away. AOW's Mike looking for him, going through the bushes here. Hasn't been able to lock onto him. He's going to check this invisibility bush. Doesn't really see anything. Is going to keep his game moving here because he knows he's got to get that ultimate back online. He can't continue to take these fights with the potential third party with no out.
Absolutely, and he is running dangerously low on grapples there. He has managed to pick up a few for himself, so he is going to be pretty happy, and he's likely going to be heading on over to this realm of Yang. Feria being one of those characters that going into realms of Yang is what you want to do. It is definitely the play, as more often than not, you can usually come away with either a draw or a win. Since you're able to stall out for so long, you can do so much with that turret, especially now after the most recent buffs to Feria. But here we are, looking to go into the realm of Yang. T25, Mike, Akuma. Oh, but Akuma and Mike don't manage to get in. Unfortunately, Mike initially taking the brunt of that chip damage. Akuma with that gold staff, he's looking to chase him down. Mike swapping over to that fan for that mobility and for that reduced stamina cost on those dodges. X-Shin, oh, that was beautifully done, coming in with that parry, cancelling the parry animation, swapping into that blue focus into the single hit, able to do the maximum amount of damage. Frostivus with Assassin's Lunge catches X-Sin, slipping. Oh, the CLMB. Unfortunately, he's not able to get the pillar drop there, but I think it might be cooked for X-Shin unless he's able to find some kind of heal. It's not a very good situation to be in. So low. Frostivus having a huge health advantage. He's just peppering him down. He's out the mech, and there it is. Frostivus picking up his first win in the realm of Yang for the day. Very nice to see him picking it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. He played that so well around Assassin's Lunge as well. The whole time he continued to threaten that space with the charged LMB on the dagger. Never showed the ace in his back pocket till he guaranteed he was going to be able to land it. And from there, he shoves them away from their own pillar, keeping Action from being able to do anything. Action does manage to finally get back to the pillar, but at that point, he's so low, he ate the back-to-back Assassin's Lunge. There's just nothing he can really do except stall for time. And there's the Assassin's Lunge coming back in, this time on to JDG's Chuzheng. Chuzheng, look at that, by the way. Oh my goodness, the tiniest little scale rush off the wall there. Frostivus really min-maxing here his micro onto JDG's Chuzheng. The pillar going to be invested. Chuzheng just trying to get away. He's so low, and Frostivus going to keep the chase going. Unfortunately, the pillar doesn't connect. We're going to see Chuzheng come over the top side there. The F going to be invested. Frosty going to keep the hunt going there. He manages to find the clank there off of the scale rush to keep Chuzheng locked down, and Frosty just needs to find a couple more hits here. The ultimate will be invested. It's not been popped on the side of Chuzheng yet, but Frosty is more than happy to keep the chase going here. Chuzheng will find some huge damage off of the scale rush, though. Frosty is coming up, doesn't want to give him the opportunity. The F reinvested yet again. The bubble. Oh my goodness, no! Frosty gets too greedy here, and he goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, the very embarrassed might will go away.
That was crazy aggression coming out from Frostivus. That is the Frostivus I like to see. He just got so oogly boogly and almost obliterated Chuzheng. But fortunately, Chuzheng was able to make his way around that terrain, around those buildings, using them to his advantage, staying alive, and at the same time putting out just enough damage that when it came down to it, he was able to take him down with one more combo. But there we are, WBG Spider having taken down, I think it was Zell. Spider got the kill onto Zell. He's running into this engagement. Akuma and Mike both in the vicinity. Spider losing all of his armor, forced to swap over to that blue armor. The staffs going back and forth. He's just getting bounced around. Spider, he's trying to get up onto this terrain. He did have Mortal Defiance. It did save him for the moment. Thankfully, it did, considering that he has... Whew, I think he did have... Did Spider won the Realm of Yang? No?
No,
Wait, no. I swear, I could have sworn I saw that red tint around him, thinking that he'd won Realm of Yang. I must be tripping. My eyes deceived me.
So there's a bounty on his head, is what you're.
Was there a bounty on his head? I must have seen
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Turning back to Frostivus here, who unfortunately, he kept the Oog coming, but he didn't pick up the elimination he wanted to outside the Realm of Yang. He is on 3 eliminations currently, though.
I think that he did pick up another one since Realm of Yang.
Yeah, so he's finally able to find some feet under himself here in game number 3, and this is what I was talking about. No way was he going to have 2 bad first games and come into game 3 and look to play passively. That's not Frostivus' style here, as we turn back to WBG Spider, who's still trading blows with both of these players over here. Akuma, I do believe this is DRG's Akuma and AOW's Mike sitting right here. He does have the Booer, and he's only got one left in the tank, though, and this legendary staff putting in absolute work. Spider doesn't even get the Furin out. He gets put in the corner. DRG's Akuma picks up his first elimination of the lobby.
Very nice. That golden staff doing work. So much damage. There's little chunks. There's the staff right to the dome. It's very impactful, not only on that health bar, but on the mental. Getting chased down by a staff can be very taxing. It is rather frustrating to deal with at times. Akuma and Mike going at it right here, both of them equalizing the damage that they deal to each other, and now both of them opting to go for that reset. Mike on 2 kills, Akuma on 1. He's looking to try and get a couple more for himself. He's got a good opportunity to do so here as well, considering that it's a relatively isolated fight, but Mike, I think he's not really about it. I think he's looking to try and disengage, considering that yet again, he's managed to run out of grapples. You definitely want some grapples.
You know, I got to mention as well, we have 6 players completely eliminated from the lobby, and we are only Zone 2 collapsing onto Zone 3 as we get ready to head to that second set of Realms of Yang. J-Team's action here, playing around the Ballista, sees that nobody's going to sit on the Ballista, so is going to immediately push away. Chu Zhang waiting to head down here to see if he can get into that Realm of Yang as it comes through, and sure enough, he's going to be able to. And to see if somebody challenges him here inside the Realm of Yang. Time will tell. He's got 38 seconds. It looks like it's going to be AOW's Mike, who might take the exact same portal in after him, but maybe Mike decides better of it as he decides to just completely zone away. He's going to come check the bell here and see if there's anybody else waiting around. It doesn't look like he finds anybody off the back of the bell here. So Chu Zhang might actually get this Realm of Yang for free.
That would be rather nice for him, although I think Akuma might be interested. He's lurking, he might be... Ooh, go on, son, get in there. Ooh.
He's thinking about the Oog. He's thinking about it. Akuma's going to take it, but it's going to be AOW's Mike going head-to-head with DRG's Akuma, and KLA will be heading in Panda Man versus Chu Zhang. Ladies and gentlemen, all 3 of them basically entering at the exact same time. Akuma going to go airborne here with the legendary staff, looking to make some hits land on to our boy Mike. Not going to quite find them, but Mike will land into the staff, and some huge hits coming in for Akuma. We're going to see the pillar and the F invested already. He's trying to come in and create some distance between that pillar and Mike. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it here. Oh, he does get the shove away here. Mike knows he's going to have to back up into this pillar very soon. Akuma trying to force away there is going to use the old activation to get away from the follow-up damage. Akuma trying to get the heals off. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the dodge there. This is the worst case scenario. He's way too far away from that pillar. Only one shot. Oh my goodness, Mike ends the career of a man inside the Realm of Yang.
Unfortunate for Akuma. That was a bit of a greedy play there, I must say. He opts to cancel his ultimate as opposed to just flying up into the air and using that to heal. As one of the biggest strengths of Feria in the Realm of Yang is that you're able to use the turret shots on the pillars and the wall, and the splash damage is what's going to secure you the damage, as opposed to actually landing the shot dead on to a player, actually hitting the pillar that they're standing close to is what's going to net you success. And Akuma, if he'd just simply gone up into the air, flown around a bit, he would have been a very hard target to hit out of the air. And unfortunately, a little bit greedy, trying to save that ultimate for the real fight after the Farrier mech gets pulled out or gets finished. Yeah, he gets taken down, unfortunately. But it looks as though Chu Zheng, also having been taken down in the realm of Yang, he's got a Soul Bloom stashed away somewhere. He's gone very, very far into the zone. That is potentially even a little too far, you might say. The 700 meters.
There has to be a Soul Bloom directly stashed between him and this resurrection. So, but the problem is yeah, the heal is getting ready to come through. He's able to get one heal off. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back here.
J-Team's
action, yeah. As we take a look here, T225 for KLA, who did win that Realm of Yang into Chu Zheng, taking a fight here with J-Team's action, trying to make something happen here with the dagger, looking for it. Ooh. Is that Assassin's Lunge yet again coming in T225? It will find the Furin. It will miss the follow-up charge to LMB, unfortunately. And now T225 has got to back away from this. 25% damage reduction, looking to do a little bit of help here for him, but he doesn't have the ultimate. He has the one Furin left. He sends it out. Unfortunately, that is going to be it for the ultimate. T225 needs to break away and find a little place to go for a reset. He's got a little hidey hole up here as the fight continues to break up between DRG's Akuma and J-Team's Action.
Indeed, Action trying to put in work with that Farrier mech, doing as much damage as he can before that ultimate is going to be taken down. And there it is. The timer ticks away, and he's now immediately back into the action, engaging onto T225, another player who does not have his ultimate available. Looks like Akuma and Mike are on the hunt. Akuma especially, considering that he is in desperate need of that Soul Bloom to cleanse the Yang depletion. Does get shot in the back just there from Frostivus, I think it is. Frostivus having been lurking somewhere. I'm not sure where he's been, but he's finally back in the action. He's got that gold dual blades. He's looking to try and find an avenue to engage. Potentially come in for that third party. T225 still not even at 50% of his ultimate. Ooh, the Starfall coming in from Akuma, locking down T225 for just a moment. But it looks as though it's not going to net him all that much success for... Oh, Akuma eats a lot of damage, forced to use that F2, and now immediately into the ultimate as well. Mike trying to shoot him out of the air, but with no success. T225 popping that zero ban, not the zero ban, the 3-ban zone, that Fox Tower, making it so that any player who goes inside this dome cannot use their ultimate. They cannot use it at all. So it's a pretty decent spot to be in if you don't have an ultimate for yourself. T225, he's still being put under a considerable amount of pressure. He has no armor. He's trying to find a moment to heal, but Mike is not going to let him. And there it is. He sends out that blue, and Mike gets the parry and the kill pickup. Akuma, unfortunately, though, he comes over to the body, but there's no Soul Bloom. He just sat in the zone. Mike is like, what's this guy doing? Okay. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Akuma will go down to AOW's Mike here. The Yang depletion, 12 seconds left remaining. Not a whole lot that he can do. 4 players left remaining here as Zone 4 won't be collapsing onto Zone 5 for another 60 seconds. But it looks like we're about to lose another one as J-Team's action just starts to obliterate JDG's Chu Zheng here. Chu Zheng still has the ult and the F in the back pocket here, but action just has got his number, ladies and gentlemen. Chu Zheng, unfortunate here. It will come back in with a longsword of his own. Finds quite a bit of value, but Action is able to break away here, keeping the chase going. Chu Zheng on the backside here, still with ultimate. Action going to look for the opportunity for a single pot here. Chu Zheng will find a pot of his own, and we will see Tower Watch start to come in. Action looked like he completely had JDG's Chu Zheng completely locked down there, had his number, but Chu Zheng able to break away off the strength of Zipping Yang.
Indeed, able to get to that tower. Making it to the tower is always what you want to look to do if you're in a rough situation. Being able to go round and round, up and down, all around the tower, it becomes extremely difficult to catch you, especially against that zipping, especially if you have a speedy weapon like Fan or anything along those lines. You are very, very hard to catch. Action. He's just, he's getting a bird's eye view. He's looking around. He's trying to find himself a target to potentially, you know, send a little bit of cannon their way. You know, a little bit of damage. Potentially look for an opening. Try and get some damage in. But here we are going over to a replay. T25 and Chuzeng in the realm of Yang. T25 with that assassin's lunge, catching Chuzeng off the pillar. Oh, and the Furin's Blast is swapping over to the Pulse Sword for that vertical. The sprinting R&B would have caught a hold dodge out. Very nicely done. Chuzeng, though, the man that we were just watching die in the realm of Yang, now almost dead outside of the realm of Yang, getting pressured by every single one of these players in the vicinity. He's so unbelievably low. He uses that F1 to try and keep himself alive just a tiny bit longer. He's desperately trying to kite with this longsword, with this Phoenix Blast. He does a considerable amount of damage to Frostivus. Frostivus does manage to come in and pick up that Soul Bloom, but oh, I thought Mike was immediately going to jump on Frostivus, but maybe not Mike. He's more interested in the Farrier. He's coming in. Action taking a crazy amount of damage, forced to use that V3, forced to use that ultimate, and it's already over. Mike sends out the cannon shot and immediately repairs. Doesn't even look at it. Cool, guys, don't look at explosions. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the 1v1 we've been waiting for. AOW's Mike versus ELD Frostivus. 7 kills onto Mike. Can he make it 8? Or will Frostivus be able to pick up his 4th elimination of the game? They've equalized their health. Frostivus going for those overholds. He's trying to find the entry, but unfortunately he does get parried on the overhold. Mike catching him with some chip damage, and there it is again. Mike with another beautiful parry, catching Frostivus, reading him like a book. Frostivus with the no mix-up. Unfortunately, that's not going to trick Mike. He's an ugly boogler, and he takes his 2nd MVP of the day.
Not only is it his 2nd MVP, it's his second 8 elimination first place finish, which means he's going to be walking away with another game score of 14.2. AOW's Mike is out here, and he is not out here to play, ladies and gentlemen. He said he was coming for the title, and he came in, and I told you he was not going to let that disrespect from day one slide. AOW's Mike comes in and finds his 2nd MVP of the day. The back-to-back, that's $2,000. That's a whole lot of cheddar in his pocket just for taking him MVPs here today.
Absolutely, and he is bound to be very happy with himself. He slides the chair back from the desk, and he's back in his little chit chat with Spider. He's like, oh, yo, so you saw this? Oh, Spider's like, whoa!
Oh my goodness, Frostivus not happy about this turn of events. This was shaping up to be his game. He was there in that lobby. There was 4 players left alive. Frostivus is like, all right, I'm going to set up these kills. I'm going to knock him down. He sets it up. What happens? AOW Mike knocks it down. He sets up the next one. Mike says, nope, too late. Cannon shot coming through. I'm going to knock this one down again. And then he goes, all right, at least I can win the 1v1, right? And then, like you said, the no mix-up not being enough. Like you said, Mike, too much of an oog and a booger to come in and fall for
What am I watching right now? Spider just like,
Spider's like, get out of here. I'm supposed to be the one with the back-to-back MVPs. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness. AOW's Mike with the back-to-back 8 elimination first place finishes for double game scores of 14.2. That's a total game score from 2 games of 28.4.
This is pre-finals, ladies and gentlemen. And these players, they're coming for that title. They're coming to win. They didn't come to play. They came to win.
Look, again, I mean, my man AOW's Mike is walking in and he says, look, I've got all of the spices on display, you know what I'm saying? Because I came to cook in the kitchen.
The Sichuan. You know, hey, he's cooking up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
8 kills in both games, doing an amazing job. And the thing is, I'm rather surprised that we're seeing these MVPs in the first set of games. Mike, usually he thrives in the chaos with all of these fireflies and all of these crazy characters, these dueling characters. But instead, we're seeing him pop off in these first 3 games, where you have your Farriers and your Zippings and all of that. Usually it's Spider. Spider does very well in this kind of environment, but unfortunately he's not been able to find much traction so far. Maybe the flip's been switched. You know, maybe Spider's gonna come in with some crazy games in our second part of the day. You know, in our second half of the day with all these fireflies. I'm very excited to see.
Yeah,
you know,
look, Spider needs to make it happen here. Unfortunately, you got to remember these games do count towards the grand finals. You're going to be taking 50% of those points with you. So Spider, if he wants to come out on top of his rival AOW Mike, he really needs to find some traction under those feet, because yet again, ladies and gentlemen, that is 8 eliminations. That is a first place finish and a game score of 14.2. Frostivus, though, will find his biggest game of the day here with 3 eliminations and a second place finish for a game score of 6.2.
6.2, that is pretty solid. Consistency, ladies and gentlemen. That is the name of the game. We talk about it all the time. You know the drill. If you're consistent throughout the day, you will more often than not end up sitting relatively comfortably at the top of the leaderboard. But thing is,
Frostivus hasn't been consistent today. He needs to find a big pop-off game like AOW's Mike has been able to find in the last 2. And this is the thing, is Frostivus definitely had set himself up for success here, and that's what he was aiming for, but AOW's Mike is able to snatch it away from him to find another huge game. As we take a look at the overall standings, here are your bottom 6, ladies and gentlemen. 521's Unique, GG Shaw, J-Team's Action, OUG's Panda Man. In 8th, we have OWN's Zelding, and in 7th, we have DRG's Akuma, which means Frostivus has moved relatively ahead. He has moved out of the bottom 6 and he's headed into the top 6. I do believe he's going to be in 6th place off the back of this game. We're going to see momentarily as we shift those scoreboards to our top 6. Sure enough, there it is. Frosty Baby here off the back of this game moves into 6th place for a total score of 7.7. WBG Spider just ahead of him at a 10.1. Just ahead of him is JDG's Chuzhang at an 11.2. KLA's T225 ahead of both of them at 13, and with a huge consistency in their first 2 games. XCG's Wang Lang with a game score of 15.3, and that's even considering the fact that he walked away with a big fat 0 this game.
Yes,
but
indeed.
AOW's Mike, yet again, 31.8 total points after his first 3 games. That is a total of 10 points per game average. The man is coming out. He is not coming to play.
More than double Wang Liang's points. So second place has less than half what first place has. That's crazy. That's crazy. Mike just, hey, he's shown why he did so well in the MVPL this most recent split. He's been showing up. He's just having a good time. You know, he's chilling with Spider. He's having some banter. He's vibing, and he's putting up those big numbers on the board. We got some nice little highlights here. This was very nice from Chuzhang, managing to turn this very dire situation into a winning one, picking up his 3rd elimination. Frostivus came in with that aggression, but unfortunately he just wasn't able to hold him down. He wasn't able to close out that kill, unfortunately. Xjin cleansing this Yang depletion, fortunately for himself. Mike, this was a very strange interaction. Mike gets the kill onto TPP5, and then Akuma, he just sort of sat there looting the body in the zone, and Mike's like, wait, you're still there, bro? Okay. He just sends him back to the lobby. This was very nice for Mike. And no mix up, boom. He knows the blue's coming, the Abyssal Aura, and there it is, Mike. Hey, he doesn't fall for that. He doesn't.
Yeah, no. You know, and this is funny because Frostivus got away with it during the group stages. So I think Mike knew in his head that Frostivus was going to look for that Abyssal Aura the second time. Like you said, the no mix-up. But Mike has done his homework. He's been here watching the games, and clearly he has learned the pattern of some of these players. 8 eliminations, 23,000 damage, 5 parries in this game. What a stat
Absolutely, and not only 5 parries, that was his 5th MVP, taking him up to the Spider level. You know, the level that Spider is currently sitting on by himself. Now there are 2 players with 5 MVPs so far in this J-Cup tournament.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
they truly are rivals. Spider and Mike, they refer to each other as rivals. They're best friends. They're having a great time. But they are, they're just right up there together, you know, just chilling, vibing, looking down, and just, hey, you coming up here, boys? Frosty, yo, get up here, bro.
Yeah, Frosty, what are you doing? Come on,
Yo,
come
TDD5,
right on.
Wang Liang, yo, where you guys at? I got here early.
to be fair, Wang Liang is kind of on fire today.
Yes,
Those
he's
first
been
2
doing
games,
very well.
hyper consistent. He does find himself not having a great game in game 3, but this is something we discuss all the time, right? Realistically, in 6 games, the odds of you having 6 hyper consistent games across the board, very, very low. You are going to find one game where things don't quite go your way, and for Wang Liang, that one game, not that big of a deal. He's still sitting in 2nd place, and he put no points on the board in the last game. That's how consistent his first 2 games were. So moving forward, you can bet Wang Liang is going to find some consistency, going to find some big pop-off games, because those were non-Firefly maps.
Yep.
We're going to be heading into those Firefly maps. He hasn't busted out the Takeda yet either, and Takeda is a hero that he is very well known for. Quite literally, like I said, he's holding on to that
He might have played
demon.
it one time, no?
Did he play it one time? I'm not 100% sure whether he did or not.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure we'll find out later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure if he's gonna go for the double pick though. Even if he's, because the meta's kind of shifted. You know, a lot of players, they're going for the double Hardy, potentially double Farrier, even occasionally a double Zipping. You know,
We've
then
seen
we've
double
got
Justina as well come through,
Justina.
especially into these Firefly maps.
Yeah.
Justina is such a strong pick into the early game, especially because she doesn't have to scale off of her weapon. So she's going to find so much value out of those early Fireflies. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it from me and Duncan. We're going to throw things over to Jaeger, and when you come back, you're going to find 2 new casters right here at the desk.
Take care.
Hi everyone, this is Jaeger and welcome to post-game interview. And now I'm standing here with our player and let him say hello to our audience.
Hello guys, I'm Frostivus.
欢迎 welcome Frostivus to our post-game interview. And first, because I think that you really did good job, but when he come to the post-game interview room and he just told me he is not that happy, so I would like to know why.
I was trying to change my strategy, like the hero picks, but I ended up using the same strategy, and of course, I ended up not doing too well in the first 3 games.
Okay. We can looking forward to the rest of the game because you will have a better performance, right? Yeah,
I
really
hope so.
looking forward. Okay, so now we know today is the pre-grand final. So I would like to know compare with the group stage. So anything different? Because we saw that there's more players using Hardy now in the solo game. So how's your feeling?
I myself was also about to pick Hadi, but I feel like he's not the best pick for the first 3 games. So I'm expecting even like more Hadi picks like on the last 3 games.
Yeah, okay, I see. And I think it's time for us to move on to next part, answer for treasure. So you guys can see the question on screen. If you know the answer, just type them in the chat box. After our player counting 3, 2, 1, we will take a screenshot and the lucky guy will be whispered. So let's see today's question. Which player got the most kills in this match? So I think you know the answer, but we don't tell the audience, okay? So I would like to know, because in the end of the game 3, we saw that you fighting with Mike. So I would like to know how's your feeling at that time and how you comment on this player. You can just get higher and closer.
Okay, I'm not too happy with that fight. I got parried 2 times, which never should have happened. And
can we change?
oh,
Yeah.
I'm not too happy with that fight. I should never have gone parried 2 times, of course. And I don't know, maybe I was panicking. And of course, Mike is a monster. He won 2 games in a row with like a lot of kills.
Oh. He's like a monster, right? Yeah. And I think you're prepared, and let's start counting, okay?
3, 2, 1.
Screenshot. Okay, let's find out the correct answer, please.
The correct answer is C.
Yeah, the correct answer is C, and thank you. And also, we still have the rest of the game, and I would like to know, Prosiva, so today is the pre-grand final, so what's your ambition now in Shanghai?
For my ambition, I would say I would try to get as much point as possible for the finals, and I'm aiming for maybe 25 to 30 points.
Oh, really high score, and I think that's you are maybe different from other players because they are like their ambition most of the is the plays, but your ambition is the score, the points in the matches. Okay, and we're looking forward to the rest of the game, and what we can say is cheer up, okay? Thank you for today's interview, and we will take a break and be right back later.
Frostovus is nuts. Ice cold.
Frostovus is a very, very interesting player.
He's been able to play in multiple different regions.
Frostovus is a cross-region champion.
He knows how certain people are probably going to play in different areas.
He's a lovely guy. He's got great energy, and I think he's very motivated.
My name is Frostovus and I am from Indonesia. My great-grandparents were born in China as a native, and my grandpa moved to Indonesia to marry my grandma. They gave me a Chinese name, Lim Xiaolong, as in a devoted dragon. I started playing Naraka during the Chinese beta, even before the global version came out. I was playing with my friend Mime to practice before the game was released. In total, I have 4,300 hours in Naraka, and I love Naraka because it is a skillful game. That is why I love Naraka.
And as a longtime player, he's one of the few players that I actually would glean new strategies from and learn things about the game with every encounter that I had with him. So I think it's going to be really exciting to see how he performs in J-Cup this year.
It is my first time participating in J-Cup. I missed previous J-Cup because of school. I had to fly to either North America or Southeast Asia during the qualifying tournament, and I ended up missing my chance to go to J-Cup, even though I have won a harder tournament considering qualifiers was easier than what the tournament I have won. The biggest tournament that I have won so far is Celestial Cup Season 1, Asian Challenge in Southeast Asia, and then Morris Cup in North America.
The fact that he's been able to perform at a very high level in all of these regions, in all of these ranked leaderboards and all of that, and these tournaments as well, where he's been able to learn from all of these different players. And the timings of all different attacks and all that sort of stuff changes depending on that, and it creates a deeper understanding of the game.
The biggest difference, I think, is that NA, when the stakes are high, they play slower and less aggressive. Meanwhile, for C, no matter what the stakes are, they will always play aggressive.
So for Frostovus, in terms of knowledge, he definitely has a wider scale of an advantage than, like, I'm gonna say at least more than half of the solo teams. No offense to the other half, no offense to the other teams though. I believe in everybody, but having that much knowledge and to win both, well, I can always go back to the old song from Ludacris. Move! Get out the way! Get out the way! He's coming in strong and he's slaying everybody. Just be careful. Somebody that has that much knowledge and that much game sense in all different regions, all I'm saying is if he's coming my way, I'm gonna try to lure him to another player.
everybody, and welcome back to the Naraka Blade Point 2023 J Cup pre-finals. Well, you're definitely cleaning up today. Someone else has been cleaning up so far is Mike, coming in with back-to-back MVPs.
I mean, it's expected. I mean, Mike has been really locked in because, mind you, this is just about points. So obviously he's going to make sure that he maintains and gets as much points as possible, knowing that those points are going to get cut in half and that he's going to have to stack the moment he flies and lands in Jeddu.
Yeah, I mean, like Darby has mentioned, this is the pre-finals. If you do not know what that means, it does mean that all of these 6 matches that these players play, at the end of the day, the total score that they're able to accumulate will be, like Darby said, split into 50%. 50% of those points they'll leave here in Shanghai. 50%, however, they'll be fitting into their luggage and taking over to Chengdu. And that means for a lot of these players, it's incredibly important to come in with a very good score, because if you go to Chengdu and you start off a little bit rough, a couple of matches maybe don't go your way, having those 50% of points to be able to fall back onto is going to be absolutely instrumental in being able to keep their mental on track.
Especially knowing that you're going to be going up against some of the best of the best here for Naraka. And speaking of best of the best, make sure to follow us here at TikTok, on Twitch, on Twitter, at Naraka Esports. There's a lot of different drops, and also make sure you guys are already paying attention. So far, you guys probably have. You guys have been answering questions throughout, so we got some questions that we're going to be throwing you guys, both predictions and after game questions as well. And follow us on Kick as well coming up. So as of right now, like you said, back-to-backs for Mike. Just feeling it out, doing super well. A lot of these players definitely keeping some composure. Wang Liang also really surprising us as well here. I mean, he's been under the radar.
I don't know if that was a surprise, is the thing. Wang Liang is a very smart player who's been able to play a whole lot of Naraka, and as a result, he's very keyed into how a lot of these other players like to play, whether or not they play incredibly aggressive or whether or not they play incredibly passive. But you're definitely not going to want to be passive to that giveaway that just popped up on the lower half of that screen. That QR code, scan it, it will take you to the page. Make sure that you're going to be able to enter it, because that's going to be wrapping real soon.
Absolutely here. So far, overall, it's been really strong. But we do have another one that's going to be coming up. Newsflash! There goes the next question. Will the player who gets the most kills play as Takeda in this match? Is it going to be a yes or no? This is an easy one.
Oh?
This is the easy one. I'm not going to say easy in terms of the guessing, but y'all know who's doing well. So the question is, are they going to pick Takeda? Yes or no? Make sure to put your answers in chat. I ain't gonna say nothing. I might be a fortune teller, but I'm not a prediction teller. You see what I'm saying? I can't do both at the same time. It really depends.
Well, I mean, we can definitely give them a little bit more info to have to work with, right? We are moving away from Holarov. We didn't see a whole bunch of Takedas there for one huge reason. There were no increased Fireflies. Now, however, we head to the second half of the day, which means we're here replacing both Duncan and Rune, but it also means that we head over to Morris Isle, and that means back to back Firefly increased map rate.
Which is your favorite, because there's a lot of aggression that comes with that.
Yeah,
there's
and you know what's perfect for that? Like, the perfect hero to be able to play off of those Fireflies is Takeda. There are so many lines in Takeda fights that rely off of you having that ultimate to be able to activate to extend into being able to find things like the Touch of Death.
That and Justina as well. I think Justina also falls really well into that.
We do see a lot of
Justina. So we'll probably definitely see some Justinas push heavily, which a lot of people definitely pick those two as like their game 5 and game 6 picks, because like they know they can use their aggression towards it. A lot of their ultis have so much of an advantage as well, not only from an offensive standpoint, but also defensive as well. So you get kind of the best of both worlds when it comes to playing these both characters. So most of the time they save those for last. I am expecting, I don't know, there definitely was some hottie picks.
I was gonna say, I'm expecting a little bit of hottie.
I'm expecting to see a little bit of Cosmo flying around, give a nice little weep, nice little haircuts to people, you know what I'm saying?
Someone's got their hands on the Hottie Extreme skin with that nickname for it. I'm a little bit jealous. I mean, have you seen it? He has a black hole in the middle of his chest.
All I'm saying is let's just hear me out, okay? Hear me out, Naraka. This is to the producers, if y'all can hear me. Hottie, but as a hairdresser, right? Like real clean, gorgeous, long, flowing, 16-inch weave, just absolutely laid out.
Would it change with the extreme? Because I mean, all of our heroes do have extreme versions of like their ultimates, right? Where you get that cosmetic and it changes the look of it entirely. Yodo actually just got hers that changes the blade into being on fire. Would you give Hardy barbershop shiz?
That would be so crazy, actually.
For his
that would be kind of
ultimate?
cool. That would be kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I think that'd be fire. Giving people haircuts? Hey, be careful. You might be next to the chair, baby.
Well, we're definitely going to be seeing a couple of Hardys in the barbershop when they head into those realm of Yanks. He very much is. And very quickly rising to prominence in the meta. I know the guys already mentioned this. It's very interesting. A lot of these players from CN actually had discounted Hardy. It had actually been the meeting of the NA region players that gave the CN players reason to actually pick up and push Hardy into that pick rate. And as a result, we are seeing some really fun things being utilized with him. Mike has been impressing on the Hardy, coming in with the mind games when he's going up against the Takeda, you know, making sure that all of those Furin shoves are going to be baited out, and then coming in with that one last triple charge to be able to connect in when he's not going to get clashed out of the sky by the Furin shove.
It's point season, baby. It's time to keep it locked and loaded and stay focused for a player like Frostivus. So far, he's been in the really good position here. Sadly, he's not really been able to conjure up an insane amount of eliminations in these last two games, but he's still in there in terms of placement. He's still able to last. He's still able to find his niche, his little corner, and still be able to fight and make sure that not a lot of people are seeing him as a target to get picked off. But now he needs to start getting some eliminations. He's got 3 more games left to do it, and the question is, how's he going to do that?
Well, one of our players who's definitely happy with that performance so far, T225, had a little bit of a rough start to the day, but was very, very smart, identified if he played to the late game when he was on that ferry on Holoroff, he was able to capitalize off on the V3 as the zone collapsed in and came up with a lot more kills in a very rapid fashion, as we are going to see the players who are in Phase 1 now move down to Phase 3. J-Team's Action, OUG's Pandaman, ELD's Frostivus, and AOW's Mike all getting to pick their heroes first as we head over from Holoroff to Morris. Firefly is now going to be increased spawn on the map. Aggressive hero picks for sure, as everyone is going to want to fight right off the rip.
And that's what we want. That's what we love. That's what we appreciate. That's why being in the third half is so sweet. Those moments, being able to absolutely come through, knowing that that aggression is going to be very strong off the rip. And here comes the picks coming in as we get 3 hotties and a Tumulch.
Well, Hardy is now immediately banned out. Tumulch is actually a very interesting pick to see, and I think we're going to see a lot of these players in Phase 2 potentially pick up the Tumulch. Yeah, this is very much damage control on the hero, right? You have the combo breaker on your F, you have the ultimate that a lot of the time really does ruin a lot of the opening of that Hardy ultimate. If he goes through the window, he does lose that flight for 3-second duration, especially if he doesn't start right in the middle of it, where he's just able to boost on out. There's your pick of that Justina coming on through. Zal immediately going to be locking that one, safe in the knowledge that he's going to be up against a lot of those Hardys wanting to have those dashes to be able to keep up to distance. And it does indeed look like GG Shower is also thinking the exact same as Zal. We're going to see unique field towards that Tessa, and since Feria had not been majorly picked in Phase 2, she's still going to be available for Xu Sheng to be able to grab up.
Why did I feel like I knew they were going to get rid of Hottie, or they were going to try to? Just something about it. I was just like, nah, they're going to be a little rude. They're going to do something out of the ordinary here, but that also means that Justina comes to play. Even surprisingly, a Tessa pick as well on top of it.
Tessa's been seeing a lot more playtime, actually off of the back of Zell picking her up. It'll be interesting to see whether or not we do see that Tessa, since it isn't Zell on that Justina. Whether or not the Tessa goes for the V1, the V2, or the V3. The V3 is a lot more consistent in the fact that even if it doesn't catch onto a play, you get that rage generated back, and you actually get to keep throwing it out. V1 and V2, yes, it only costs 55%, but if you dodge it, it does not actually immediately replicate the rage back. The thing is, V2 into these Hadis is really good. It can catch them. It doesn't stop the ultimate, but if a Hadi tries to use his ult to try and disengage and he's an absolute slither, that V2 snap, the damage that it does is sometimes more than enough to be able to down the Hadi permanently, and yet there it is. Unique following suit with Zell's loadout into that Tessa F1 V2.
Definitely going to be a strong pick here for this game, as obviously we're going to see some Hadi picks coming in from Pandaman and Mike and Frostivus as well here.
We've got Justina V2.
Really?
Yeah! This is the surprise factor. This has been happening more and more. I think it's losing the surprise factor. A lot of these Justinas actually deciding to take V2 into the
Zelending
mix.
as well, also going to V2.
V2 is really strong, especially in those group fights towards the end, but it can still be incredibly good to be able to lock those players down inside the realm of Yang. It does mean, however, that you get less dashes than the V1 variation, as we can see all of these players going to be landing, no surprises. It's going to be Fireflies, everyone immediately wanting to get their hands on those ults.
Definitely catching some of those Fireflies here as we see AOW, Smike, and Akuma. Looks like they're going to be finding it out as well here towards this far right side, a little bit past where Towers is, but it looks like KLA, XAG, Frostivus, 521's Unique all have the same idea. As we see WBG Spider going to be in front of Selection to the far left here. Looks like he's going to also try to see if he can get some decent loot in these spawn locations, as we see GG Shaw immediately landing basically almost dead center of tower, and it's gonna have, hopefully, maybe we can see a ballistic kill. I mean, that would be interesting as well, just to see it. But ladies and gentlemen, game number 4 starts right now for the prelim finals. This is it. This is for just stacking up your points to see what we can do, as we start to see immediately Frostivus and Wang Liang going at it immediately. Tumult's trying to see if he can dip out of here. Was able to catch Frostivus in a decent space here, just so he has the opportunity to get away. And now Wang Liang creating that distance here, has the point, finds a weapon here, but it might be a little bit too late as the F comes through. A beautiful diversion, and then is able to come through, slam down, and get that staff elimination and the finish to send him back to the resurrection.
Yeah, Frostivus knew that Wang Liang did not have the F combo break to be able to escape a second time, and continued to put pressure onto the Tumult. As a result, KLA's T225 also in the areas. We're actually going to see Mike and Akuma going head to head, both of these players into that zone. Akuma incredibly low, Mike with the purple weapon already, going to try and hold him that for as long as possible, tap dodging backwards to make sure that he's going to be able to push on off. We see the F2 from the Hadi now being invested, so Mike can take the high ground and potentially look to drop down with a vertical. Akuma not playing into it, gets the 1-2. Mike with the overhaul into parry, following it on up. Gorgeous LMB to try and keep a track of Akuma, knowing that the Farrier under pressure is going to use the F1 and try to break away. Mike now looking to try and lock down this kill, will be able to get the grapple cancel onto Akuma. He needs to be able to drop this player because that body's going to be so far away from everybody. That's going to be insurance policy. Late game, the 1-2 coming through from Mike, catching Akuma. He's going to leave the Soul Bloom. I guarantee it. It would give him his ult, but he's going to leave that Bloom with how far away it is from everyone else's drop location. He wants that insurance policy, as we're going to see. That Justina V2 coming into play. Shell with the staff, catching Frostivus overhead. The triple charge threatening from the Hardy. He can hold this as long as he wants. And there it is. That Hadi, we've talked about this ult for so much. Never have we really commented the strength of being able to hold that triple charge for as long as you can. Frostivus now going to be dipping on out. Spider with the Tumult ultimate, managing to time through the Hadi ultimate duration. Frostivus with the parry, however, into the repulse damage. Spider, no armor, looking to try to break away. Frostivus gets hit into the Wisp, and Spider swaps to the purple pulsar to try and convert into a kill, but he should maybe have tried to disengage instead, because as a result, even though he turns back in and finds such a huge opening off of the pole sword, he just doesn't have the health to be able to stand up once the CC runs out.
Frostivus' timing was so well placed on that one here. Him being able to at least get out of dodge, fully knowing that he was actually going to drop that Sand Siphon, he literally read that coming, and he was able to get out of dodge before he got caught in it. Now, meanwhile, Shazang is able to catch an elimination onto KLA's T225, and immediately starts to push onwards to Pandaman, barely giving him really much of an opportunity opportunity to try to reset here. Pops the F key, maybe for the opportunity for the heal, and decides to dip out, popping the ulti. Panaman is going to just to be able to take that momentum and dip out as far as possible. Panaman really playing that to the life-ending moment that he needs to, uses it for a fight or flight. That is what you consider the fight or flight moment in that situation. And it looks like Akuma is going to get cornered into the space here. And it's going to be the 1v1 reset for Akuma and Mike all over again. The chase begins as he starts to be able to capture him in each section here. Nice hits coming through as the blue is going to be able to tap him at least 2 or 3 times into this one. Nice strikes coming through from Mike as now Akuma is now on the run, is able to catch him on the wall. Beautiful F key reset coming in from Akuma as now he's going to try to see if he can maneuver through this building, giving himself the opportunity here as Mike is still going to be able to move up top. It looks like Akuma is going to give this space and be able to try to see if he can dip away here. Is able to catch the Dandelions here, using that momentum and a little bit of that science to make it a little harder for them to catch up. And it looks like he might be able to here, as it looks like Unique is going to be able to come through. It's the Sand Siphon, but that's going to be unfortunate as he opens and starts right in front of the no ult zone here. And it looks like it's not going to be too much of an advantage for him here, as he does try to see if he can complete it with it regardless. Unique almost gets caught by this little tornado here, but it's not going to be enough. Beautiful hit coming through from the fan. Unique struggling to try to see if he can capture a moment here, as he was able to get a little bit of hits from the dual halberds, but it's not going to be enough here. Nice scale rush, trying to see if he can get closer with the connectivity, and is he able to, as Wang Liang is going to be able to get that beautiful double strike and that finish to knock Unique out in this game number 4. Now, the one thing I do want to go back to is how well Frostivus was able to read that. And the same thing with AOW's Mike. There's something about Frostivus, he's locked in today. He's had tough moments in some of these fights, but nevertheless, he's definitely ready for when those fights come and what's next.
Wang Liang there with a really smart play as well, going for that Tumulch, knows that the Tesla is trying to kite over towards that no ult zone. Tumulch has a really strange interaction with no ult zones. If you have your ultimate actually dropped on that location before the no ult zone comes through, even if it activates, as long as your Tumulch ultimate is already on the field, it does not immediately cancel it. It is not the same as some of these other ults with like a Takeda or a Taka, where you have that ultimate popped, or even a Hardy, and you go into the ult zone and immediately lose all of it. So really good stuff coming through from him. Also left the Soul Bloom, so he's going to be looking to try and secure himself a Realm of Yang, even though he's on a Tumulch, who historically does struggle inside the Realm of Yang. KLA's T5 also patrolling around the entrance of one of his. Mike looking to try and push in through as well. We do know that he's going to be playing incredibly aggressive, wanting to scale to late game with this Hardy. Hardy, one of the heroes in Naraka whose damage scales off of the rarity of the weapon that you use when you pop that ultimate. Zell looking to potentially try and find that grief onto some of these players, dropping on forward, as well as Frostivus and Spider all having the exact same idea. Who is going to be able to make it through? J-Team's action might have to duel out GG Shah for control of his. Pandaman and Chusheng also circling each other. No one's going to actively make a move until these portals actually spawn. It is very much the gentleman's agreement. No one wanting to actually have to use their ultimate before that fight begins. The time we see the grief, the time we see any of these ults committed from these players who don't want to go through but want to stop others, is only going to begin once those portal entrances spawn. And there it is. AOW's Mike not able to get in. Frostivus also denied. Mike not wanting to take the fight, going to utilize the F2 to be able to run away from it, trying to set himself up with the Skull Rush off of that wall. Will be able to find it, as he is just right on out of there. In the meantime, right on in there is J-Team's Action and WBG's Spider. Action coming in with those nunchucks. Spider able to find the opener, chunking through a lot of that purple armor with the R&B on those halberds, making it a lot more even, given the fact that he's still running blue. Spider overholding into the parry, going to utilize the F ability to try to drop below Action. Will be able to find the Wisp connection. Spider now doubling down into that fight with the ultimate, looking to lock him down. J-Team's Action going to do the exact same. Both of these Tumultuous now getting the Wisp reset when they walk for each other's ultimate. Spider held in the Wisp, goes into the meter dump. J-Team's Action comes out on top.
Action reads that super well towards that end, does not let the amount of damage that he is getting hit with to define the rest of how that game goes. Obviously still being able to hold it, takes that strike, holds for the LMB, and then literally is able to absolutely decimate in seconds time, and now the timer is set on WBG Spider. He's got the bounty, he's got 4 minutes left on the clock.
Oh, but it's on action.
Oh, that's crazy. Now that's a storybook if I've ever seen it before. Immediately picks up a bounty. The bounty is the same person that he just lost to. I need writers to write this script. This needs to be made into a movie. Anyway, back into it here as we see Action immediately fighting this out with Wang Liang. Those nunchucks absolutely putting in work here as the parry's going to be able to come through. Nice little reset. Ends up actually stealing the fan from right in front of him here. Beautiful turnaround reset on GG Shaw as he gets turned on immediately out of this third party. A fourth party comes in with the parry. Looks like the pistol trying to see if he can create something. And now Action wants some of that booty coming in from Shaw. He said, no. You wanted in on this third party, you're going to get this third party. But what you might not like is the result at the end of it. Trying to see if you can get him off the stairs here. GG Shaw now is deep in the hits of movement, trying not to get caught up here. And it looks like Action is going to force this fight as the pistol shots are going to come through. Pops the F key, immediately going to go for the heal, and then immediately catches it with Justina. Throwing to the Arctic Wraith. Hitting that ulti, it is able to signify and dip out, but it doesn't look like it doesn't matter here because Spider is gonna find him anyway. Keeps him right up to date with it. All of the updates coming through, you gotta be careful and be ready. As now, he's gonna be absolutely coming through with this fourth party. So many players inside of this section. So many people trying to see if they can capture this one elimination. Both of them on red, dangerously low. GG Shaw, caught in a tough situation, has to try to see if he can retreat as much as possible. Ends up top. And it looks like he might have the free space here to be able to possibly pop his shield and dip out of here. He still has to be able to hold strong. There's at least 7 players
Spider's still
in
after
this space.
him.
Spider is still chasing as much as possible here. Hits him with the dual halberds. Is able to capture in a corner. Question is not going to be able to hold it. Someone else going to steal it. He hits the scale. Spider is going to get the elimination and prevents anyone else from getting caught. But now he's caught on the chopping block. He gets absolutely destroyed by getting carried by the tornado coming through, and you have to be very careful here. Now he gets hit by the grapple on the scale rush off the wall, ends up getting hit towards that, has to be very careful. He doesn't get upscaled by Action, and now Spider is on the chopping block as he has to be able to rotate this out. Pops open his ulti, decent timing, but it doesn't matter because Wang Liang drops through and immediately is going to be able to get the elimination and eliminate Spider with those dual halberds. Catches Action mid-air. Doesn't even give him the opportunity to try to retreat or at least try to get back, and now Action is fighting Mike. Immediately going to find that source, pops the F key, and is able to dip out of dodge. Using that hottie to be able to maneuver himself out of that situation, knowing Action is ready to try to capture an elimination. But he ends up getting hit with a beautiful headshot from Wang Liang with the bow. Now he's caught in a tough situation. No shield. Beautiful clang coming through here, so he's going to be absolutely getting juggled here. The third party might come through from T25, but it's not going to be enough as Wang Liang is going to capture that elimination. 3 eliminations deep, and now he's fighting it out with T225. Both of them holding strong. Pops open the ulti. Pops open the space to be able to dip out of Dodge's way, and now he's caught on the chopping block. Both of them all going to try to see if he can scale rush it. Looks like he's going to opt to go outside of the circle here just so he can separate from this moment, pop his shield, and maybe potentially go back in for that fight.
Oh, I think Akuma's still under Yang depletion. He's having to take this fight up against Frostivus. We're going to see the 1-2 come through from the staff. Akuma immediately going to disengage the potential jump horizontal follow-up with the Farrier F1. 1 minute and 16 seconds left for these players to be able to try and lock down that Soul Bloom. Otherwise, they're out of the lobby. Akuma with the R&B on the fan, catching Frostivus as he engages into that fight, going for the skirmish to be able to put himself on top of the roof and still continue pressure. Frostivus with the overhold on the staff, going to find the connection of the focus onto Akuma, who tries to back him up. Pandaman coming in for the third party. LMB thrown out from Akuma as we see the Hardy ultimate now being utilized. Akuma with 50 seconds left does not have the time to wait the Hardy ultimate out. Unfortunately, he knows with the third party in the area, he can't be seen as that low target. Otherwise, they all turn onto him. Frostivus now incredibly low, trying to use the movement on the Hardy ultimate to be able to keep himself away and keep this pressure up onto Akuma so that that third party of Pandaman turns onto him. Once the ultimate runs on through, another player now drawn into this location. Akuma, 24 seconds left. The wrong end of the R&B on the dual halberds coming through from Zell. He's going to be able to find the kill. Akuma goes down. Poison splash going to be hitting Zell, but he does not care. He has that kill. He has another tally. This is 2 to his name, and this is a Justina who didn't have to utilize that ult to be able to lock it down. Realm of Yang also going to be spawning up in the area of Zell, wants to try and push into it. However, he knows that the Hardy in the area has already utilized that ultimate, and as a result, he's going to put his attention onto a target he knows is a lot more vulnerable. Might unfortunately work against him, however, Zell loses all of that armor. Going to have to pop the ultimate, trying to close up the distance. Finds the freeze into the RMB. Zell has one more dash. That is the trade-off with the V2. The area of effect freezes all of the players around it. Frostivus able to find the cancel on the no-ult zone, but unfortunately, Zell's already been able to use the dash to get on top of him. Over into the second spawn of Realm of Yang is Mike and Xu Sheng going toe-to-toe. Mike trying to be able to play around the Farrier cannon, does not manage to read in to one, does not manage to dodge the second nor the third. Mike in the past matches was able to dodge every single throw of the Farrier cannon, but Xu Sheng makes it look so clean and hits everyone as Pandaman looking to hit onto Action with that pistol, swapping over onto the fan, threatening the space with the potential RMB. Action overholding, going into the red flash. Pandaman throws out the RMB. Action knows he's going to commit it a second time, parries it on the return to Pandaman's hand, and we see the ultimates come on through. Pandaman with the Hardy trying to find the triple charge. Action taking so much damage off of these connections. Pandaman looking to just zone on out. Action taking cover inside his Tumultuous ultimate. Knows if Pandaman wants to try and chase onto the Tumult, he's going to lose those wings and be grounded for 3 seconds. So Pandaman instead opting to use it as a reset opportunity. Ultimates now removed. Pandaman coming in with the longsword, looking for that jump horizontal to be able to find the damage and push Action far enough away that he can follow up with the RMB on the longsword. Tries to find the toothpick, doesn't manage. However, to get the uppercut confirmation, Action overholding to be able to dodge on out of it. Pandaman yet again with the RMB on the halberds, but Action's able to be able to find the uppercut into grapple bump extraction. 10 seconds left. Are any of these players going to be able to find the shot? Yes! Action finds the kill with the range. Pandaman goes down.
Beautiful timing, though. That could have got real hasty. 10 seconds left on the clock here. I got a little nervous. I didn't know if anyone was actually going to be able to actually get that. Unfortunately, in that moment here, as we're looking at Mike, that's still super in that far side of the circle here. Definitely a little bit away from where the circle tick is, and it looks like he was able to go and get that one soul bloom that you were talking about earlier. Such a far hike to be able to go and get that, but it looks like he was able to, though. So he was able to pop it, get a free one. Very much worth it here in this moment. Definitely did a fantastic job with that one as well here, as it looks like now he's going to try to see if he can rotate this in. Has to be very careful as Zhozing trying to see if they can hold strong here as Zellending on the rotation.
Mike died to zone tick. That is out of the lobby. Xu Sheng with the
He didn't have enough heals?
He didn't have enough. Well, I mean, even if you stay in that zone with enough heals, the heal cut reduction, like the zone had moved so far away from Mike's original spawn where he'd been able to drop Akuma. Even with the Hardy ultimate into the F2, Mike literally had to pop the Hardy ultimate.
Come on, Mike!
To be able to reposition.
Come on, Mike! What are we doing here? We can't be doing that.
He tried. He also denied a potential kill going through onto some of these other players. And you have to remember as well, Mike has already been able to pick up 2 MVPs today. He's on 33.4 points.
That is true. That is true.
He can afford. He can 100% afford to see whether or not he's going to be able to get away with a play like that. Because he knows if he goes in to just 5 players left in the lobby with Yang depletion, he's the one that everyone's going to turn on to. He's not going to be able to recover. Even if he gets the Soul Bloom, he's still going to go down immediately afterwards, right? That's exactly the situation that Spider saw himself land in. So Mike makes the smart heads-up play, denies the kill, does unfortunately go down, however, as a result. And I do believe that's actually his double pick of Hardy now removed as well, as we're going to see one of these other players does have that Yang depletion. I do believe it is Pandaman trying to just lock down one of these players into a kill. Unfortunately for him, a lot of these heroes who are left, both the Tumult, the Farrier, and the Hardy, have the means of being able to disengage themselves for the fight. And when you have 2 minutes left, it's going to be incredibly hard to be able to find that kill confirmation. You're going to have to bait the combo breaker out of every single one of them before you can properly commit in. But by doing that, you're going to paint yourself a target and show that the fight is going on. Pandaman, unfortunately, not able to have enough time to sit back and wait, trying to instigate a fight, putting pressure onto Wang Liang, will be able to rip off a huge amount of armor. Pandaman's done enough. He tries to back on out. He gets intercepted, however, by T225, and that is a Hardy F2 now being utilized, so Pandaman doesn't find himself caught in the middle. Unfortunately for him, he still takes a lot of damage coming through from the players around him. Goes into the V1, looking to try and find the lockdown. Gets stuck in the middle of the Tumult ultimate. Wow. And unfortunately for him, even though he gets the kill, into the Wisp, and the damage off of the back of it kills him. KLA's T225 now going to take a lot of pressure coming on through from the player behind him. Crucially, however, Action not really going to want to try and take this fight because T225 still has that Tumult ultimate, and we are going to see him back off as a result.
What an insane moment coming through. There were so much things that happened here within this last, like, 60 seconds, to be honest. The ulti coming through, getting eliminated for the hottie. Somebody absolutely destroyed T225's health earlier, though, with a bow. Obviously was able to come through and heal up as well here. It looks like he's going to be fighting Shazing. Shazing really wanted to try to see if maybe he could lure him inside of the Meg's breath here, but it's not going to be enough as Blue Albert is trying to see if he can connect. It misses the first one, is able to hit the second. The ulti comes through here. Sand Siphon's going to try to see if he can slow down the movement. It looks like he's going to get caught off X-Shin too towards the back. Definitely does not want to get hit. Oh, ends up getting hit, but he's up too far.
Nope.
Nice scale coming through from there, and it's not going to be enough as Zskin is going to find their 4th elimination of this game, 13.8. Now he's going to start focusing straight onto Shazang. Shazang looks like he's ready to fight this out. Trying to wait for the charge on the blue RMB on each side here. Waiting to see if they can catch the scale towards it. It looks like they weren't able to, though, as X-Shin is going to be able to hit him with the Disappearing. It almost catches him. Actually, it does. Beautiful reset coming through from Shazang. Is able to pop the totem. Trying to see if he can catch him with the ulti, and immediately he's going to be able to find beautiful strikes to connect that as well here. Has to be careful as he calls open the ulti. Ooh, X-Shin almost gets hit by the Bane's Breath, goes right down the waterfall. And X-Shin out of there quickly as possible. Shazang has the opportunity, though, to go for the reset. Pops open the heal.
Oh, he's going for the Morris.
Going for the Morris. Blessing here.
Legendary armor for free. It's solos. There's no load bar. The second that you're on top of that box, you can open it up and pick up the upgrade.
What a
Xu
smart
Sheng,
play.
very smart. Good stuff coming through from him, overholding that fan. It's a 1v1. These are the last 2 players left in the lobby. They know as well that both of them do not have those ultimates available. Xu Sheng tries to throw the R&B, wanting to have that scenery actually disguise and distort the hitbox, but Action still finds the parry. Xu Sheng now lacking a lot of the legendary armor, trying to find the LMB on the dual halberds to be able to just find the connection onto Action and also carry himself away from any of that damage coming through on the low ground so he can cycle back into the F ability and utilize it to combo break out. He gets stuck in the Wisp. The F1 just in time, able to come through and save Xu Sheng from any conversion of that Wisp CC into a combo string coming through from Action. This is just going to be a kite fight. Xu Sheng with the grapple cancel coming with the horizontal. We're going to see Action able to find the grapple bump into RMB. Xu Sheng, an absolute sliver, gets locked down. Action off of the damage that he is able to do. Able to build that ultimate up before the Ferrier mech comes through. Stops the disengagement, catches him on the wind wall, saps all of the stamina, and Action walks away the MVP. What a game for J-Team's Action.
Not only a game, too, but what a find as well here. This is definitely a game that he's been wanting to get. He hasn't been lucky enough to get some dubs on account of his insane run towards the prelims from earlier with his solo, so definitely going to be very rewarding for him to finally get one here. Great eliminations, great awareness coming in, especially him fighting Shazang in the back. He plays a fantastic game, and obviously just reading that, he reads it super well towards that very end here, but this game was wild. Mike ends up dying outside of the circle, risking it for the Soul Bloom that he saved up, waiting, knowing that he has it for the next Realm of Yang.
Yep.
There was so much that went down towards that.
But the zone,
getting eliminated.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mike, like the zone's just not in his favor. Like he's purposefully lands as far away from everyone as he can, but choosing one specific player to be able to target down so that he can have that Soul Bloom in the back pocket. But unfortunately for him, when he actually needs to use it, we've moved so far away that he just goes down to the zone tick. Speaking about T225, he was so unfortunate. He gets, like you said, he gets hit into that Wisp, the CC of the Tumult Ultimate, mid-air, right? And you would think, surely there is no way that any weapon is going to be able to catch him. Unfortunately for T225, the player that actually catches him in that Wisp has dual halberds. So he just goes for the uppercut and it catches T225's toes, and as a result, he just eats so much damage from a legendary set of halberds.
It's actually crazy, though. Obviously, the way that they were able to hold strong here, they did a fantastic job, and they still have some more to go here, as we still have 2 more games left. But overall, strong game in their in game number 4, especially for some of these players. Action obviously getting their dub. AOW's Mike definitely able to at least capture like 1 or 2 eliminations prior, but sadly, just he was thinking. I think he was thinking a little too far in the game. He was thinking like 19 steps. He should have been thinking maybe 15, maybe 10. I think he was too far ahead, and I think that also cost him. But I mean, definitely was thinking smart, just ahead of the game.
I mean, you can't blame him, right? When you think about the other players who had Yang depletion and went into packs of players to try and find one of those albums. It wasn't just Spider who fell to the curse of Yang depletion, it was also Pandaman too.
That's true, which is also very surprising as well. Pandaman was fighting. He was fighting and holding on for a long time, trying to see if maybe he can get lucky.
So I think he did manage to drop the player, right? And I think he might have been able to pick up the Soul Bloom, because when we cut to his POV, he doesn't have Yang depletion. What I think might have happened, and this is incredibly unfortunate, when Pandaman was looking for that kill, he was on the middle of the Tumultuous ultimate, so as long as you don't go through that wind wall, right, your Hardy ultimate is still going to be able to stick around. I think to pick up the Soul Bloom, he had to walk just a little bit further forward, and it actually put him into the wind wall, which immediately cancelled Flight for 3 seconds.
Yeah, I definitely did notice that, especially with the ulti, because we saw that happen a little bit later on here. But as we look at the scoreboard for this game, decent score, good eliminations, 5 eliminations in total, 10 up top here for Action. Shazang with 4 eliminations and 2 ranking points, making him go up to a 7.6 in second place. Wang Liang tying it up with Zelendig and Frostivus, all of them tied with 3 eliminations apiece. 4.6 tied for both 3rd and 4th, and 5th rounding it out with Frostivus with 3.8.
I'm really sad that we didn't get to see more of the Justina V2. I love the Justina V2. It's such a surprise factor because everyone is expecting the V1, right? It has more dashes, so it's a much better option to be able to use to disengage. The V2 only has 2. But where its strength comes in is when you're fighting towards late game, because what essentially does is when you go with the Justina V2, the player that you freeze actually gets an AoE puddle of frost around their feet. Any other player who's in that circle, when they get frozen, instantly gets frozen too. Unfortunately, when we did see the Justina V2 come through, it only caught on to one player. It was a 1v1, and a lot of the time it was being used to disengage as well. And that means that lacking those dashes is going to put you significantly behind in terms of survival compared to 2v1. But speaking about behind, we can have a look and see who exactly is behind in the leaderboard and who's out in front of the rest of the pack.
Definitely tough here for a player like Unique here, who still has 2 zeros on the board. Technically 3 if you count the 0.5 in his game 1, ending it with a 2.1 here. But if you go up to the top, obviously Mike in the lead here with that 33.4, a really decent gap here, almost being able to have the same amount of points as Wang Liang and Shazang combined with that 19.9 and that 18.8. T225 with that 15.8, and Zelendig with that 12.1. And our leader, or not our leader, but at least our game 4 winner, 16.2 in J-Team Action.
Yeah, Action coming in, doing an incredibly good job managing to climb into the top 5 as a result of that last game. And these points are going to matter, Derby. Not only does it mean you have that cushion to be able to come into the finals day and know if you have a little bit of a poor game, you're going to be able to recover and bounce right back. It also is going to get into a lot of these players' heads, as we can have a look and see Frostivus absolutely slamming down with that staff. Mike with the F2 on the Hardy there, just coming in for the reposition, uppercut into Soulbreak Chase, catching on to Akuma, as this is where he dropped that body. Unfortunately for him, the zone did move a little bit further away. Frostivus there catching on to GG Shah. Shusang sits on that tree, observing the fight between T225 and Pandaman, coming in with the charged vertical on the longsword, able to catch on to T225 with the jump horizontal when he knows that they're low. Really good stuff coming through from him.
Beautiful timing coming through there. Beautiful time, excuse me. Beautiful time going up through there for that elimination here, as we see Zelendig trying to see if he can push it out towards Frostivus. This is that fight that we were talking about earlier. Zelendig just trying to see if he can get closer to Frostivus, and he just sadly was not able to. This was the movement that we were talking about here. The timing to be able to capture him off this backstretch, and T225 comes out of nowhere and shreds Vanderman to get the finishes and see you later. Action hitting that third party here, catching him off the backstretch, nowhere to really go, and obviously just absolutely decimates T225 towards the end of that fight, where it's just now down to a 1v1. It's my favorites. I love when it's just 1v1, there's nobody around, and it's just mono-y-mono, you and I. He's going to be able to catch him off the outstretch before that slows him down and is able to push on, keep that same aggression, and form a finish with those dual halberds here. Action. It's still raining pink, ladies and gentlemen. I love me some pink lemonade. It's actually really sweet and delicious. And just as delicious, his 4th MVP with a 4 counter strike, 17,000 damage, 5 eliminations, and dual halberds at the top with the damage for 6,700. On top of his insane, or at least decently, Soul Jays, but with 1 melee resist Soul J too, he definitely knew what he was doing.
Yeah, Action, very much a player who knows exactly what he's doing. Tumulch as well. Wins out the lobby on a Fireflies map as Tumulch, going up against these aggressive heroes like the Hardy, like the Justina, is able to come out on top, plays a lot of these other players' aggression against them. That's what he's able to take advantage of. That's what Tumulch is actually incredibly strong at being able to do, right? You sort of lie in wait, you figure out when the best moment to throw out those wisps is going to be. And when you say the best moment, I mean the most inconvenient moment for the player that gets caught in the middle of them. And Action is very good at being able to identify those situations, identify that window, which is incredibly small as a Tumulch, right? You throw that wisp, you can do it from a really far distance, so you don't have to worry about being caught in the crossfire to set it up as a result. And you know what? You guys are going to have to worry about the question coming up right now, because only one person is going to be able to walk away the winner, and we are running out of time. Which hero did this match's MVP use? Was it A, Tumulch? Was it B, Who? Was it C, Zai? Or was it D, Hardy? And you can immediately knock out 2 of those potentials because we didn't even see those heroes locked in.
That's actually really interesting, though, for sure. But obviously, it's been good throughout these games so far here, as we was watching some of the games from earlier today, and definitely seeing where some of the players' mindset has been so far. And even for a player like Frostivus is definitely locked in. I think I'm expecting, we have 2 games left. He's gonna claim at least 1 dub today.
Okay.
I feel it. I'm throwing it out there. Here we go. There's my first one. I'm a bad man. Boom. Frostivus gonna at least get 1. All he needs is 1. At least 1 dub, 1 first place. I'm gonna say maybe I'll go 7 kills.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna get specific here.
Oh, you are going specific? Oh, I feel like I need to match this now. Do you know what? I feel like Spider's moment is still waiting to shine. I think Spider's walking with an MVP.
Ooh.
I think he's probably, you know, feeling a lot of pressure, right? You have to remember this is pre-finals. This is where the points that you take forward actually really do count. And something else that's going to be counting is the highest score between Zell and Unique. If you think that you can count it correctly, make sure to get into that game client and predict the future. Maybe you'll be better at it than this one over here.
Hey, I've been right so far. At least, listen, some of my choices have been pretty decent so far. Okay, and over time in NBPL, also same thing. It's been very interesting in terms of some of the call outs, some of the things. Obviously, I'm not afraid to be wrong, because that's the whole thing about prediction. You got to be ready for when it is absolutely cheering you on and when it smacks you in the face. So coming into this, like I said, there's been a lot of confidence from Frostivus. Frostivus really playing well. He's just been caught into either bad situations. Sometimes third parties catch him up. Sometimes he doesn't know how to be able to juggle. Other times it's just that W key aggression maybe gets the better of him and he gets too anxious. But I think him being able to read some of these moments, I think this was definitely a better improvement for him as a player. And I think he's going to be able to lock it in game 5 and 6.
Yeah, you have to remember as well, all of these lobbies are what we affectionately call lobbies of death. That is where all of the top players are now thrown into the same room, and that means, like you've said, a lot of aggression. A lot of these players are going to be going immediately all in at the very, very start, especially with things like Realm of Yang, where you need to be able to guarantee that you drop one of those bodies to feel safe and secure actually entering into that fight, because we've seen time and time again what happens. Sometimes even you win a fight. That actually happened earlier today. Mike won a fight inside one of those Realm of Yangs. I believe actually it happened, so was it Frostivus as well, where they both win fights inside Realm of Yang and they both make sure that they have a Soul Bloom secured. And then the second that they actually take the second Realm of Yang and lose that fight and they try and backtrack to that body, absolute moment of horror. It's gone.
It's way out there, or somebody found it and stole it. You're just like,
and that's worst case
scenario. It was right there.
Yep.
It was right here. It was right. I'm looking at it. That was where the soul. Who took my Soul Bloom?
Unfortunately, you can't bike lock Soul Blooms. So as
Who
a
says
result,
I can't?
Well, it's really unfortunate too, because it's worst case for a whole number of reasons, right? If you're dropping a body and you've left one of those soul blooms, the reason that you do it is because you don't think a lot of players are going to run over to it, which means it's going to be in a very secluded area. You only have 4 minutes to be able to find one of those soul blooms, and that timer, it doesn't start when you find a soul altar. It starts the second that you actually lose the Realm of Yang and have to reposition to a soul altar. So the entire time that your ghost, your shade, is actually moving to a soul altar, that 4 minutes has already started and is slowly climbing down. And if that body that you think has a soul bloom is far away from where you revive, that 4 minute doesn't have a pause. It just relentlessly keeps rolling on. So if you roll up to where you think that soul bloom is and find that it's gone, you have about a minute to be able to figure out how to be able to take a fight. And unfortunately, we are in a meta where not only is there so much sustainability in places like Holoroth with the zip picks, but there's so much mobility. Hardy is incredibly hard to be able to pin down. You see these players, they go incredibly low, but if they're able to pull off their ult and just disengage that fight, there's no way you can catch them. You can't even try and chase them into the buildings like something like Afaria, who's going to lose the mobility of that mech, because if she wants to leave that room, she actually has to cancel it early. The same thing for like Tianhai, you can't go for the Monk ultimate inside those buildings. Hardy doesn't have to worry about any of that. He gets to zip in and out of windowsills and door frames absolutely for free.
Meanwhile, if it was me, you'd see me screaming at the next player trying to get him to not touch that soul bloom. Hey! hey, you! No, that's mine. No, I'm going into the room. I swear, don't touch it. Do not touch. I'll be right back. If I see you touch it, I'm putting you and me. You and me when I get out this portal. That would be me. Like, and that would just be my luck too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm confident, I go into this Realm of Yang, I lose, and then I immediately come back out, and the Soul Bloom's gone because someone took it, and I'm like, man! As we look back here for the first round selections here, trying to see if they can lock it down here, we're going to be seeing the first round coming through from Wang Liang, T225 Spider, and Akuma. Akuma, very fun player that we've witnessed over time here, an amazing player. We've talked extensively. He has been one of the few people that we have dissected player in and out over time throughout the entirety of not only just J-Cup and NPL entirely. And he is somebody that we consider the wild card.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when it comes to Spider and Mike, they're very, very downright dirty. Sometimes to the book, obviously very much to the book, mainly for Spider. Mike, he can definitely go off book sometimes. And as we're going to be looking in here, it looks like we're going to immediately see some hotties. These are not some hottie fans.
Well, I mean, these are probably going to be hotties who definitely want to have fan equipped with how good that weapon is proving to be in solos. Hardy immediately going to be taken off the table. Yet again, we are going to see the damage control come through. Xu Sheng and Sha picking up that tumult. Zell going to be fielding the Tessa, knowing that he's going to be able to take that V2, find the connection onto the Haddies when they're in the open space. Unique coming in with the ACOS pick. No hero banned out coming through from the players in Phase 2. As a result, J-Team's action, no surprises. He just got an MVP with Tumult. He's going to be more than happy to run that one back. I know Duncan is going to be incredibly happy where he's watching as OUG's Pandaman locking in his signature hero of the Tarka. Frostivus coming in with that Justina, and AOW's Mike also going to be mirroring Unique on that ACOS. This is going to be incredibly interesting to see how exactly having ACOS available is going to play into those fights, those 1v1s against these Hardies. You do have a lot of height with the Tiger Grab, but again, you only get 2 lunges if you're utilizing the V2 variation. Hardy can just bait out the lunges before coming in with the actual connection of that triple charge. Something that we've been seeing a lot of these Hardies learning to be able to take down things like the Takeda and also the Tarka.
Very good to see where that option is going to be here. We're going to be able to lock it in for our game number 5. So close to the end here. And obviously for our solo, so close to Chengdu. I hope you got your bags ready. I hope you got your ticket stamped. And I hope you got everything else ready to go. Hopefully, best not to bring your daggers and stuff. We'll have all that provided in Chengdu. As we're about to get ready to lock it in here for our game so far, it's been very strong, but let's see how strong are these picks.
Ooh, V2 from Frostivus. Okay, it's still going to be a Blizzard in the area for that Justina. Mike coming in with the V2 unique, also opting for the F1 V2 loadout on that ACOS. I think all of these hardies, yeah, running that F2 V1 variation. Zell coming in with the signature V2 on the Tesla that a lot of these players have started picking on up and adopting as their own strategy. F1 V3 from all of these tumultuous as well. Panzerman, no surprises. It's going to be the V1. Keep an eye on him, whether or not he's able to get a katana, staff, or spear in the back pocket. He's 100% going to be looking to take a Realm of Yang.
Absolutely, that aggression is going to be just as amazing here as ladies and gentlemen, it's time to dim down the lights. It's getting nighttime. As now Frostivus, and it looks like Action is going to be immediately fighting this out off towards the top side of Celestia. Here's Jetty Jisha saying, and KLA is going to be landing inside of Celestia itself, as it looks like AOW's Mike and Spider fighting it out, landing near each other, as GG Shaw is going to have the whole section of Shipwreck Expanse to themselves to be able to absolutely find some amazing loot for them to continue their onslaught and hopefully be able to get some decent points on the board for themselves here, as we see DRG Zakuma gonna be kind of more in the open space here, but a little bit closer towards the mine. Might not necessarily head over there towards that section here, but there's still gonna be a lot of great loot for them to have here. But let's see what happens as we fight this off here. Oh, and actually, Wang Liang is gonna be over there right next to them saying what's up. So this is gonna be a good fight. The top three, definitely. It's going to be fun to watch off rip. Now, as we see Mike and Wang Ling off that side, we're going to see Spider and KLA C225. C225 decides he wants to get a little closer too. Beautiful parry coming through from Wang Ling. He's going to absolutely juggle Mike off the inside of this hut. Immediately, Mike is going to try to see if maybe he can time it right to go off to the inside here. Seeing if he can capture himself some decent resources here. Doesn't have anything to his name in the sense of heals and shields. So the question is he going to actually commit to this fight? Wang Liang dangerously doesn't have much shield here. He's going to use that as the opportunity here to close in this gap. Nice hit, though, try to find him as FF keep coming in from Hadi. Trying to see if he can close in this gap. He's waiting for the opportunity for them to strike. Nice hits from the dagger. Beautiful strike. Goes down, gets the finish, and Mike gets the first elimination of game number 5.
Yep, that's back-to-back. We see Mike punish Wang Liang with the LMB on that dagger, catching him and anticipating the scale rush as Akuma and Zell go head-to-head. Zell with blue halberds chasing into Akuma, able to find the grapple bump into RMB. Akuma, no shield, takes it immediately to his health. Zell coming in with the 1-2 into pistol swap off of RMB, first stage stagger. Really smart stuff coming through from him. Clean mechanicals. Didn't get to see whether or not he left that Soul Bloom. Tessa not really the greatest in solos to try and take those Realm of Yang fights because of the isolation. Means that the players have the time to be able to try and predict when the ultimate is going to come through, as opposed to in the overworld where a lot of the time it can get caught in the noise, especially if that Tessa is coming in for a third party. As Mike now trying to find the skill rush, will be able to find the connection onto Pandaman. Still grey in armor as well, by the way. Mike with that blue pistol trying to just chunk through any of the armor that Pandaman has to try and even that stakes before the fight begins. Pandaman knows that he's going to get pressure, holds the skill rush for as long as possible. Mike with the grapple cancel, though, able to stop him from being able to find the disengage. 1-2, looked for that uppercut. Pandaman going to deny it. We're going to see the Tarka ultimate now come on through. Pandaman thinking he has Mike entirely locked down. Mike going to have to utilize the ultimate to break away from being held in the corner. Pandaman able to get over the door frame, but it's directly into Unique, who shows up for the third party. This target incredibly low, thankfully for him. Still has the ultimate to be able to get that faster movement speed to try to disengage. Pandaman will be able to find one heal. Still taking pressure. The ultimate now removed. Going to use the elbow to be able to try and just body tank through. Mike with the tiger grab going to find the connection. Pandaman still incredibly low. 3 players on his tail know that this target does not have any of their abilities to be able to try and use defensively. 225 also coming on in, but it's Spider with the staff who's going to be able to lock it down. 225 now with the dagger fan throwing out the R&B. Spider flashing red in anticipation of the second connection. We're going to see 225 throws out that R&B yet again. Spider mistiming the parry, going to utilize the F2 to be able to break away from the repercussions of it as he puts himself on top and tries to find some of those resources. T25 rings a bell, wants to get a read on how many players are still in the area before properly committing to this fight. Unique also in the area, potentially coming in for that interruption. Spider, no armor, incredibly low, finds the parry onto T25, who's going to utilize the F2 to break away. Spider looking to try and chase with the 1-2, wanting to make sure that he finds this kill onto T25, knows that the F2 is going to be on cooldown. Spider getting aggressive, comes in with the purple to be able to scoop T25 away from being able to hang on to that beam. Gorgeous stuff coming through from Spider as well, body blocking the exit of the building, forcing T25 into taking the fight. The F2 glider gets stuck on the door frame. T25 able to turn the fight around to have a huge focus strike coming through with the dual blades. Spider now going to utilize that Hardy ultimate, and we get a dogfight in the air as both of these Hardys incredibly low. T25 backing on off once that reset. Spider knows that T25's ultimate went through first and wants to try and find this chase. He's got another triple charge. He's not even going to charge it up to gold just now, just going in for the fast cuts. Death by 1,000 blades as Spider keeps the Hardy ultimate. T25, all of the reset health has been reset right on back. Spider chasing him into the zone. T25 able to come in with the left R&B on those dual blades, not able though to use the hyper armor and live through the damage coming through from Spider's staff as Mike shows up for the party.
Timing coming in super well for Mike here, almost a little bit earlier here. He could have been able to actually steal that elimination away from Spider here, but Spider keeping that same movement. He's going to be able to dodge it on each side here. The movement and the defense coming through is being so well used here in this moment here, causing and creating that pressure for AOW's Mike, as now he's on the chopping block as he's going to try to see if he can separate. Goes on the inside here. The juking coming in from the man himself is able to capture just a little bit of some heals just to keep it alive as he goes towards the inside, finds a beautiful F key just to be able to separate himself. Nice power slam from the Tiger Claws to be able to do it just enough here. And now Mike is going to decide to back off this. Plays it really well. Nice grapple, but Spider is not going to let him go that easy. Still low here, and he still has a massive opportunity here. So obviously this is the point that we talk about here when it comes to both of them fighting this out. And it looks like the staff is going to get repaired, and Spider decides to actually not fully commit to this.
Well, it was zero durability. Mike is going to be able to find the reset, like you said. Realm of Yangs is starting to spawn on up. However, Spider knows that Mike hasn't been able to move past him. He is going to be able to try and keep a track of this ACOS. The problem is that window of opportunity that Spider had to be able to punish the ACOS has been removed. He knows that Mike is going to be coming in with that ultimate, so Spider has to be a lot more careful about how he takes this fight, especially when his V1 is still recharging. Mike with the overhold, going to cancel it out into the 1-2, throwing out the L and B to get the spacing and push Spider back. Spider taking that pressure, going to try and meet Mike. Gorgeous uses of that blue focus from the staff to be able to not get staggered back by the ACOS F1. Spider, however, having to worry about that third party coming on through. The grapple connection off of Unique going to be spent by the skill rush coming through from Spider off of that ceiling. He has the V1. He's going to use it immediately. He goes incredibly low, going to utilize one of those swings to just keep himself carrying forward to get that reset opportunity. Puts himself on top of the building, will drop into potentially Coffin to open up that legendary trove and find any of the goodies within. Blue armor going to be healed back on up as Mike finds a purple pistol upgrade. Realm of Yang spawning on through, and here's the thing, both Mike and Spider have griefed themselves any opportunity of being able to enter it.
The griefing is insane. Y'all talk about it before here. Once they start to focus each other, they continue to focus. It's a big cat and mouse game. You got to be careful here in these moments here. And so far, they're still able to hold strong here as we go to see Frostivus and Wang Lang inside the Realm of Yang here. Cannon shot trying to connect, but it doesn't matter as the ulti pops in for Wang Liang. Beautiful defense, trying to see if he can put it together here. And Frostivus trying to see if he can get back to his blue fan here, but sadly isn't able to. He ends up getting juggled by the staff, pops the ulti, goes for the freeze, is able to do a lot here with the pop, goes through with the ulti to get out of dodge, and still is able to drop down and get one decent hit to get the elimination onto Frostivus inside of the Realm of Yang here. Now, if we look back on the outskirts, Akuma is also flying away too, as AOW's Mike trying to see if he can get some nice hits here, and it looks like he's able to, but he pops the shield mid-flight, trying to see if he can close in this gap here, as Akuma just trying to get out of the way, out of dodge, but he hits him just enough to be able to for his ulti to end, and now he's still going to be able to keep the pressure right onto him here. Tries to go off the outskirts here, but it's not enough, and AOW's Mike trying to see if he can scale rush it up towards the top side of this section, trying to see if he can hold him, and nice hits though on this one, pops him with the F, and trying to see if he can just dip out of here as quickly as possible, just trying to separate and get a nice little bit of some movement speed here, and it looks like Akuma might have successfully just did that.
Celestra. Hardy and Celestia are a match made in absolute heaven.
And Akuma.
So many buildings. I mean, when Akuma's here, it becomes less heaven, right? Akuma, the translation is demon. It's a very, very good name. It is a very good name. As Akuma is able to leave Mike behind, unfortunately he's not able to leave Xu Sheng behind. He doesn't have that Hardy ultimate either. He does have the F2 back on cooldown. He's got that fan in the back pocket, no surprises. He is the dagger and fan demon as he's taking so much damage. Stormstride also kicking on in as Akuma utilizing this building. I mean, it's Celestia and a fan. You get the fastest state of scale rush, and Celestia has the most amount of buildings in tight corners. It's the reason why Hardy and Celestia is such a pain to be able to lock down, because again, like we said, when you go through those buildings, you don't lose your ultimate. You have to be careful that you don't get signed on the door frame. If a player drops that on your head, you do take the concussion, and that will knock you out of flight. As T2-5 overholding, going to be able to find the connection onto action. Looked for the uppercut punish to try and land onto that Tumult with the F being thrown out. We're going to see the ultimate from action being invested, but T2-5 with the R&B able to catch him before he's able to break off onto the other side. T2-5 still with the ultimate as well. This is a body that is inside the zone. T2-5 going to leave it here, especially since part of it is actually sort of obscured with the scenery, as we're going to see Zell with that V2 finding the connection into the uppercut. LMB on that dagger, trying to come through and take out GG Shah, who utilizes the Wisp to be able to buy himself a little bit of zoning space. Overholding the LMB, Zell misreads it, has to utilize the F1 to be able to combo break on out. Throws out the next V2 iteration. Shah wanting to try and find the interaction. He knows he's going to take a massive hit of damage. He does have the golden focus on the F to be able to break away. So looking to try and find the punishment yet again into the LMB. Shah with the wrong timing on the parry. Going to utilize that Tumult ultimate. Jumping past Zell, getting that potential reset, blocking off the other hallway with the Wisp so he can find the opportunity inside his ultimate. Every time he goes through that window, he gets one of those Wisps back. As we're going to see Zell with the read, knows that Shah was around the corner, catches him with the LMB. Shah with the scale rush, looking to try and remove himself from the situation, at least until that Wisp comes back into cooldown. This is the mind game between the Tumult and the Tessa. Zell looking to try and lock this kill down, knows that Shah does not have that ultimate to be able to stop him. Throws out the V2, Shah able to dodge it this time around, however, with the tap. Shah with the F going to carry himself a little bit further away. The Wisp left into position. And yet again, we see ring around the pillar. Both Zell and Shah not able to lock it down. But Shah finally bends the knee, goes out waterfall entrance, and repositions as it did look like it actually cost him a great armor swap as well.
He said, you know what? You can have this. This is all you. I'm tired of you. I'm out. I'm done. We're not doing this no more. Okay? You win. You win. You win. You want the cave? You got it. I'm gone. See you later. Sick of this.
Oh,
meanwhile, Frostiness right on the outside here, trying to see if they can claim something here. They have 20 seconds left on the clock, but it's not going to be enough to do what he needs to, as he just misses out on seeing Akuma. As it looks like he's going to decide to bow out and let the Circle Tick do the dirty work. Pops the ulti. And his game number 5 is going to be over. Unfortunate for Frostivus here. 11.5. Sadly, wasn't able to get any eliminations into that game here. And the Realm of Yang wins yet again. And the Yang depletion, able to do enough to put that pressure onto him. 4 minutes, and sadly was not able to.
No way do these two run into each other again.
GG Shaw and Zelendix just waiting this out here. As now he's going to go for the scale. I feel like Zelendig, like, senses it. Like, Zelendig knows, like, this man's around here somewhere. Well, GG shot chilling, but it looks like he might have successfully got out of there, though.
Both of these players wanting to try and play it towards those outer edges of the zone. They do have to be careful because the most blessing is going to be spawning right there, but that's why Zell is positioning up. He's wanting to see whether or not he can get it for free, unchallenged. He does still have that Tessa ultimate, as well as T2-5 going to be trying to secure a Realm of Yang entrance. In fact, Zell actually putting himself in the middle of it. This is going to be such an interesting matchup. Zell, so easy to dodge the V2 when you don't have additional pressure of all of these other players' presences. Will he be able to find value with it? T2-5 going aerial, dropping down with that musket, looking to try and find a connection of something like slow shot onto the Teslas. We see the cannon come through from Zell. It's going to be the focus strike coming through from the fan, forcing the Tesla F early. As a result, he doesn't have it to combo break. The RMB into vertical jump down, going to be able to take so much damage off of Zell's health bar. V2 does connect onto T225, but he utilizes the ultimate to be able to break away from any potential follow-up coming through from the Tesla. Triple charge coming on through, T225 holding it, trying to bait Zell into using the F1 too early. He's not going to have it to be able to clash the Hardy out, and T225 with the mind games plays the Tesla like an absolute fiddle. In the meantime, we have Pandaman and Wang Liang, both Hardys going, or rather Hardy and Taka going head to head. Wang Liang threatening that space, trying to bait out that utility from Pandaman early, will be able to find it. Mixing the movement up, then comes in with the true committal. Really smart stuff coming through from our Hardys. You love to see. They've only really had this hero for less than a month.
Man, that timing though, them being able to dish it out on both sides here, especially with the Hottie, like you said, for less than a month, and look at them already using it to such an incredible advantage here, knowing when the strikes are and how you can be very, very unpredictable with the charges, when you can be able to push in, and it actually leaves people absolutely stunned. Now back into it, ladies and gentlemen, Panaman and Zelendate now has the same timer on the clock. 4 minutes left to see if they can secure themselves an elimination or at least a soul bloom. Maybe they can wait for somebody else to get eliminated and potentially be able to get eliminated then as well. As the no hold zone starts to fully indive himself, Panaman fighting this out with the same person that also has a realm on them as well. Both of them trying to see if they can get some Yang depletion off of their backs here. The question is, who's going to be the winner of that one? As all of the players start to come through here. 7 players inside of this circle here, trying to see if they can create any type of advantage for themselves here. As Panaman's going to be able to go for the heal immediately. T225 finds him, trying to see if he can hit him with the musket. Isn't able to here, as they're all going to start to separate and close themselves in towards the map here. As Zelendate now on that chopping block here, trying to find it as he gets decent hits here onto Panaman here. Panaman trying to see if he can capture it here, but it's not going to be enough. As Zelendate finds the stun, and it's going to be able to back off this, but immediately gets grappled on both sides here. Now both of them, it's an absolute brawl. Both of them waiting for the opportunity, and now all of a sudden they strike. Zelendate is able to get a beautiful hit, but the parry coming through on T225 could be very helpful for him here. The question is, who snags the soul bloom?
Pandaman. It's Pandaman.
Okay, nice timing to be able to try to catch that one. Even with all of that madness coming through here, still was able to find it, but sadly was not able to get the elimination as he starts to back off here. Meanwhile, T225 also finding this out. Akuma has to be careful here. He's getting sniped from outside with the musket, and he has to be able to dip out of here as best and as fast as possible here. Nice hits coming through from the cannon. It looks like the musket also was able to do some damage too, but DRG's Akuma is going to be able to get out of Dodge's way. I take that back here as he's getting absolutely destroyed by pistols nearby here, as all of a sudden Wang Liang comes out of nowhere here. It's like, sir, where are you coming from here? Both of them trying to charge strike it. Akuma just trying to dip out, but it's not going to be enough as JDG finds the elimination, gets the soul bloom, and dips out of dodge. Meanwhile, still trying to see if they can rotate this up. Just able to go back towards tower, up top. Oh, no. Oh, they might have enough space not to make sure that they don't get caught
blindside. It's blindside.
Definitely blindside for sure here. That would have been insane if they were still rotating. He was like, hee. Still was able to actually capture somebody outside with a ballista. That's going to hurt, especially with that fire tick. You got to be careful. WBG Spider trying to see if maybe he can use this to his advantage as well here. And even with that amount of timing here, 4 players tied for first here with the amount of eliminations. JDG, Shazang, T225, and Spider, all with 4 eliminations apiece.
Yep, Sharp on that ballista, going to be threatening that space. Pandaman, by the way, he didn't get the kill. However, he did get what he needed, which was that soul bloom. That's the reason why he is more than content to just let other players take down Zell and then slip into position to be able to grab the bloom, because now he's cured his Yang depletion. He doesn't have to worry about the 4-minute timer running on out. Mike, however, has to worry about all of these other players in the lobby right now. Thankfully, he is on tower of that ballista, able to utilize the kite availability with that scale rush on the fan, one of the fastest charging scale rushes in the game, and there is so many places for him to be able to set those up around that base. You can kite pretty much on infinite until the zone pushes you away. Mike taking even more pressure coming on through. Wang Liang with the cannons not allowing him that clean reset to slip away unnoticed and find the full Vitalia onto that health bar. As a result, Mike has to kite back into Ballista, put himself onto the beam, and Wang Liang knows that there's a player on top. Wants to try and figure out where exactly Mike has hidden himself as T225. Legendary fan, legendary nunchucks coming through for this Hardy. That is going to be a lot of damage scaled into that ultimate, as we do hear GG Shah try to fire that ballista and land onto some of these players as the zone pushes him off of that base. Wanted to clear the space, knows that he's going to be particularly vulnerable in that rotation. T225 also going to be rotating a little bit later than some of these other players. Morris Blessing starting to draw the attention of everyone who wants the upgrades. T225 though doesn't need them. He has 2 legendary weapons already. As a result, he's going to let everyone else fight it out and put themselves into that vulnerable position. Spider able to dip on top of that Morris Blessing before the grapple cancel connects and stuns him out of it. Wakes away with the legendary armor. You can see how quickly he went to that box because it's the only thing he grabbed. He leaves the legendary longsword. More than content to have that fan. Knows even if a legendary longsword is in play, with how fast the fan R&B is able to come on out, that longsword is not going to be able to have any say into those 1v1s. And especially with that Bane's Breath coming in and cutting off a lot of these players, no one wants to be caught out.
Wouldn't want anyone to get caught out either in this moment here, as the Bane's Breath absolutely surging all the way around. Wang Liang up top has that control of that top hut here, as WBG Spider just trying to go through his moves as well here. Trying to see what maybe he can
he's double dipping. He wants the longsword.
And he got it. He's able to not only get that, but also get the shield as well. Nice format to be able to try to do it. Like, listen, sometimes it's better to have it because, listen, sometimes you would rather have it than somebody else that's also fighting.
Well, he's a Hardy, so he needs the weapon to be able to scale his damage in the ultimate.
That's very true. Also gives him that beautiful damage advantage as well here into this, as AOW's Mike is just doing some hunting practice here. Fight! Fight!
I don't think anyone's falling for it. No one's grappling.
Nobody? Okay, that's unfortunate. Listen, I tried, Mike. That's all I can tell you is that I tried. There it is. He missed. Okay, it's okay. Coming back towards the top of it, though.
I thought they shouted pull.
Pull!
There you go. Pull!
Listen, I haven't gone skeet shooting yet. I plan to. I want to. That's definitely one thing I'm adding to my bucket list.
Clay pigeon shooting.
I want to do it so bad. Like, it looks really, really fun. Even with everything here. Listen, there's a lot of first times, okay? First time casting here, first time with everyone here at the same time. I mean,
you missed your opportunity. Spider just skirmished up into the center of the sky.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But it's okay, though. There's going to be more times like this, too, as the circle's going to slowly close in here. 7 players left. Panaman's still creeping up really.
Oh, he has to stay hidden. You have to remember, he's on Taka.
That's true.
So he's
Everyone
really
knows
lucky
him.
that building is there. Everyone doesn't know that Pandaman is still in the lobby, though. The second they see the Taka, they're going to know it's Pandaman. They also are incredibly aware that they cannot allow a Taka to be able to live. He's not as much as a threat as if he was running Fireball. Then he really does become a avid threat when the zone collapses. When you prioritize having the V1 and going for the infinite setup, it does unfortunately limit a lot of the value that you pick up into the late game. But it also means that you have, those touch of death combos that a lot of these players, if they don't have that combo break, they're not going to be able to squirrel their way out of until they're down. As we can see, everyone just posturing up, trying to find a safe place. The only connection and commitment to a fight we're going to see at the moment is just ranged shots exchanged from afar. No one wanting to overstep, not until the zone properly pushes these players into taking that direct duel.
Pull! I'm just kidding. that's where she's just just slowly. 15 seconds left on the clock here for this circle. Now we're going from circle 5 to circle 6 here so far. These games have been really good so far. Still on that 3-way tie between Spider, T225, and Shazang. This could be a massive pop-off game for T225 if he starts to close this out. And he's able to do exactly what he needs to, as well as Shazang as well. Shazang has yet to get himself a dub as well. This could be really good for him, as he's in second place with that 23.7. Also 22.6 coming in from Wang Liang, but he has that 2 eliminations so far here. So he could really see some absolute advantage here as well for the pop-off. So definitely a lot happening here as a slow circle slowly starting to close in here.
Well, this should be Spider popping off. He's on 4 kills. He's got legendary armor, he's got legendary weapon, he's on Hardy as well. The question is, have these players identified that there is an ACOS? That there is a cat amongst the pigeons? Because if they do see that ACOS, it's going to get a little bit more different on how they're going to have the target selection. No one really going to want to pop their ultimate and try and pressure into Mike if they know that those tiger grabs are still going to be up.
Who do you target first? Do you target the Tarka or do you target the ACOS?
So the Tarka is going to be a lot easier to be able to take down.
That's unfortunate for you, Pan. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, Mike, however, is coming under a lot of pressure. These players, they know now, yeah, there it is, the Wisp trying to catch Mike. The ACOS has been identified, GG Shot trying to turn the attention away from him and onto one of these other players. Mike rotating away from that Wisp, now has run himself directly into Spider as well. We're going to see T225 seeing that there's another Hardy. They don't want to take that fight. Both of them know if they get pressured into utilizing the F2 or the V1 too early on, they're opening themselves up to be targeted down the second that one of them falls. Spider, unfortunately, going to be held into position of that building with the Wisps coming on through. Mike with the charge right-click on that pulsar, just running around, trying to create as much of a threat as possible and land some of these connections onto Spider, who's taking so much damage inside the building off of those range projectiles of cannon coming through from Wang Liang. We are going to see Mike now trying to put pressure onto Spider. Spider actually forced into the zone. Pandaman potentially noticing it out, charging up the focus strike and keeping Spider in position. No Merciless Havoc, however, attached to it, so Spider will be able to heal up in peace. Pandaman still holding onto that balloon, knows that he's going to be one of those targets that everyone tries to jump on the second that they realize one of these heroes is not like the other. As Spider looking to put even more pressure onto Mike, sees that the ACOS is still going to be in play. Mike with a hyper armor on the right click on that pulsar, trying to just body through as much of the damage in this bully phase as possible. Yet again, we have the zone has pushed forward and moved these players into different areas of location, but no one is wanting to be the first one to ult, because if they do, they know they're going to be the target. Everyone jumps onto Mike, literally jumping onto Spider. The ACOS under fire, utilizing the ultimate, tried to get the grab and connect Spider into the zone. Corruption take damage, doesn't manage to find the connection, still has one of those grabs, has to put himself center now and turn the focus onto someone else. So when the ult runs out, he's going to be free to recover. Spider does get grabbed into the zone, has to bend the knee and take the moment to be able to find the re-shield as Shah is able to find the Wisp onto Wang Liang, and we're going to see the longshot start to come through from Spider with the pressure onto the players in the building.
Oh, man, intense circle here towards this. Spider was able to find some decent hits here, but then Wang Liang, also in a very similar situation, ends up getting sniped as well. Has to take his time and be careful here. Panaman also trying to hide so that way he doesn't get spotted as well here, as he's trying to get, come on, there's things right in front of you, Spider. You can't shoot through that. Meanwhile, he has to go through the jumping method here, as he's going to try to see if he can get some hits as well here. Waiting for the opportunity for him to possibly pop his heals, as he's going to need to here. But he knows that if he does, at any moment, a lot of these players are going to utilize that moment for them to possibly be able to get some hits on him and end with that damage here. So much happening inside of this small circle here as they're just going to try to time this out here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where things get hasty. Circle 7 starts to close in right now. This is where things get hasty. At least 2 or 3 inside of the building. Sand Cypher comes through. Nice hits coming in from T225. Absolutely shredders the rest of the shield here. Spider's going to hold on. K225 ends up getting an elimination onto Shah. Both of them going to be able to go out immediately into this one. Holding strong for as long as possible. Both ultis pop in. Beautiful time for each one as T225 goes airborne. Immediately is going to use his F and try to get some decent damage and sends them outside of the circle here. It's going to be a nice big aerial fight here. Sand Siphon comes through, pops open from the outside, going inside with the shield here, then trying to close the gap in a little by little here. K225 ends up closing the gap. 7 eliminations, 8 eliminations, catches 2. K225 is going insane here. Now he's going to try to hold it off here for as long as possible. Wang Liang, but it's not going to be enough as he gets the parry. T225 closes out the game. Almost double-digit eliminations, and that's how you end the game 5.
What our production team, all those months ago when we found out that we were going to Shanghai, asked us if there is a player in solos that you think is going to walk away with the title. Many other casters said other names. I said T225. I have had faith in this guy since Jacob from last year. T225 coming in with that Hardy, able to play the ultimate. There's the smile. We're yet to see the, the staple smirk come through of a successful MVP. I don't think he's quite comfortable in his position in the leaderboard at the moment. but really smart stuff coming through from T225, able to utilize the Hardy ultimate, seeing the players going low around him, finding the connection of those last hits. Spider, unfortunately, despite already having 4 kills, legendary armor and legendary weapons, was in a really rough spot. He had no shield potions left. When that zone started to collapse, when you said, oh, there's that fence in front of you, Spider was utilizing that fence as a way of deterring other players from turning onto him. They could see that the armor was broken. They knew that it stayed broken. It wasn't because Spider wasn't able to find a reset opportunity, it was that he had absolutely no chance of being able to find a reset because he didn't have the shield potions to be able to do it. So what he basically does is he utilizes the fencing as a way of being able to block a couple of the range projectiles coming through, but also that fencing interferes with combo strings. So as a result, if a player tried to openly challenge him out in the open space and look to be able to lock him down with one of those combos, they would unfortunately get stuck on the fence. And being stuck on that fence, even though it's only about 0.5 seconds where you sort of clip into it, it would mean too much of a window for all of the other players in the area to turn it into him. So as a result, Spider sticks behind it. Unfortunately for him, however, that does mean he's a little bit too close to the zone when it starts to push on through. So the second that we see a Tumultuous ultimate come out and he gets stuck inside that wisp, it's unfortunately from 0 to 100 real fast as all of those players in the area, they see the zone collapsing, they see the ultimates come through, they know it's now or never, and we have absolute chaos unfold. And it's not often we get 7 players left in one solo's lobby as that zone starts to close on forward. That very much felt like the same tempo as a trio's zone closing.
Almost. It was definitely a packed out circle here in that final, and obviously T225 popping in at such a great time to be able to not only get the damage but send people out of the circle, letting the circle do the work and the damage for him, so that way he could prioritize some of these other players. Once he started to get through, he ended up getting the last hits and the last laughs, just absolutely calculating those kills more and more and more to stack it up in such a good time. Obviously being able to do that in that moment here, and even Panaman actually surviving longer than Spider. I think Panaman was the one that actually was able to, no, actually that was T225,
yep.
Actually ends up steals that elimination here, so he almost cleaned out the entire 6 players. He almost cleared them out. I think there was one he might not have gotten. But over than that, he went insane. I can't wait to see what the standings look like, at least for this game. For T225, that is a huge, huge score coming in from him. As you said before, you wanted to see him pop off. You wanted to see him get a good game, and that's exactly what he did. 10 eliminations, 17 points for his game score, and a really strong closer game for T225. A desperate one at that.
Yeah, double digits, like you said. That was the game that he needed, something that we have to talk about. We've talked so much about how strong the fan is. One thing that's really overlooked in what the speed of the R&B on that fan is able to actually bring to the table in solos is the ability to poach those kills incredibly quickly. It does so much damage, but the speed in which it comes out, if you see one of those players stuck inside something like a Tumultuous Wisp, you wait for the opportunity for them to be sub 50%, you throw out that R&B, it has the distance so that you're not immediately in the fight. You know they're stuck in the CC of the Wisp, so they're not going to be able to find the parry. It's exactly what T225 does. You see Spider go low, he scoops up the kill with the R&B on the fan, and from there he's able to convert into that late game. I think he even makes off with a lot of the loot on Spider's body as a result. So we can have a look at the standings and see what exactly game number 5 has meant to all of these 12 players. What has shifted around? We know that T225 is definitely going to be moving up a couple of those rungs. Unique still lagging behind on the bottom. GG Sha as well, one of those players I definitely did not expect to see this low down. Akuma too, not having a great day. Frostiver struggling too. Pandaman with that Tarka, unfortunately not able to find the targets and kills that he was looking for, and there it is. T225 off of a 17-point game maneuvers himself into second position behind AOW's Mike. That has got to be such a breath of relief for T225.
Not only that too, but a little bit of confidence going into Chengdu as well here, knowing that you are right neck and neck with the top player here. Definitely, even when you split those points, you're still going to be right there and says, hey, what's up, man? I'm right here. I'm ready to go. Let's play some Naraka. Now, surprisingly, a little bit surprising to see WBG Spider in 6th place. This is a player that we saw drop 4 back-to-back dubs that we've seen from earlier. So this is a little surprising to see him in that top 6 and actually struggling with some of his games here. I think maybe probably some of his placements, maybe in this moment he just hasn't had some decent spots here, but as we look back at the replays here, T225, this was his game. As we look at Akuma getting eliminated from Zelendinkt here inside of this space here. Still able to hold strongly for as long as he needed to here. GG Shaw trying to find the hits here, and he gets the elimination with the bow. Beautiful time. JDG Shazing off with fighting this out with Zelendinkt. Beautiful LMB, just trying to continue to keep that jungle for as long as possible. Same thing with Xjin here. K225 reading this moment here. Him missing out on it, seeing the moment here to be able to strike it. Beautiful hits from the fan, trying to see if he can back out of it. But he hits the boomerang and says, see you later, buddy. Where do you think you're going? Look at JDG coming down from the heavens, coming out of nowhere here, and getting that surprise finish here with the pistol on the way up top here. K225 trying to see if he can catch it, and this is when the beginning of the end started. Beautiful strike, waiting for the damage, and obviously comes through and steals both of those eliminations inside of that final circle here, and obviously pops the ulti, starts to go airborne, immediately catches the first of players from the outskirts here, sending them outside of it. This is when he sends one of the players out from that far section here. Both of them fighting this out. The Sandfly's been able to slow down some of that. Mike ends up getting parried and sent off the outskirts of the circle. Both of them struggling to get back in, and that gives KT225 a perfect way to fight that out and gets the jumble piece towards that. Sadly was not able to get the elimination. It actually does.
Yep.
In the amount of time to get the finish here, and just cleans up and says, my job here is done.
So he reads out that he's up against a pole sword with Blistering Edge, and that they're going to want to utilize that Blistering Edge to win the sustain up in the zone with the fire tick. And you can actually have a look and see KLA T25 stats. Stanchion, Pillar, Armor Pierce on that musket, Burst Arrow on the bow, Slow Shot, Sunwing, now combined, Dual Ring, and also Stamina Strike. But look at the damage coming through on that fan. And I mean, secondary damage also 4,400 coming off of the Hardy ultimate. This is an ultimate that does not play around in terms of the damage that it does. 2 successful counters as well coming through from T25. Crucially, one of those coming off of denying the Blistering Edge on the pole sword in that last 1v1.
I feel that. Come on, wake up!
Well, here's the thing for a lot of these players, right? They didn't expect to be lagging this far behind because they had really good performances in the regular qualifications.
Very true.
Xjin was one of those players. He had an incredibly strong day 2. Spider as well had an incredibly strong day 1, and this is the problem for these players. They popped off, but they did it a little bit prematurely. As you definitely want to make sure that you are right on time with answering this question in chat. Which player earned the highest score this match? Was it AOW's Mike? Was it WBG's Spider? Was it KLA's T225? Or was it DJDG's Xu Sheng?
I mean, it's... Let me not say nothing. Let me just not say nothing, because this is.
I feel like the scoreline says enough.
Scoreline says a lot, absolutely. Here, as we're going to be able to live this in, we still have one more game left. So far, the aggression has been super strong. Reading these players has definitely been a little tougher, as not only that here, being able to watch that has been tough, but on top of that, you guys will be watching something else here as we get ready to lock in for our game number 6.
Teacher, the water here is also contaminated.
The contamination is only a symptom. To find the cause, we must look elsewhere.
我小组赛打下来比我预想的还要顺利一点。改进的东西我会偷偷的改进嘛，然后就希望能在总决赛上发挥好一点。暂时来看，应该也就只有麦克对我的威胁比较大嘛，因为他也是比较一个完美的选手。我觉得只有失败才会让我成长，才会让我变得更加强大吧。这个节杯冠军我是比较有信心的。决赛压力肯定是会有的，但是如果能把压力转换成动力的话，
We love seeing the anticipation from Spider, knowing that there's a lot of pressure coming up to him here, and now feeling that pressure now that he's placed in 6 so far for our prelims. The players have been set. We know who's going to Chengdu, and we know who's going to be absolutely duking it out both in solos and trios. So all of our names are here. Now it's just all about how they're going to be placed when they get their points split in half heading to Chengdu. But for you guys, y'all got a question to answer, and hopefully y'all can be able to predict it. Which of the following two will achieve the most kills in this last match? This is game number 6. This is for all the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. Is it GG Shaw or is it OUG's Panda Man? Put your answer in the client here for your chance to win something nice. Now, this has been a really great couple of games here. T225 pops off and just sweeps the competition into this last game here. Now for game number 6, this is for all the marbles. Everybody plans to come through. Everybody is going to do everything possible to capture and garner enough points so that way they will feel good. But for T225, he goes from being in that 5th, 6th, 7th place. Now he is directly behind Mike with a 1 to 2 point difference.
Yep, 2nd place has been secured, but maybe it's temporary, we don't know. We still have 1 game to play for all of these 12 players before they pack their bags and move on over to Chengdu. Panzerman not able, unfortunately, to put together a winning performance on his most prolific hero of that Tarka. Spider has got to be getting into his head a little bit at the moment, right? This is something that we were touching on before the break. The fact that he was coming in, one of his performance days was 4 MVPs back to back to back to back. He was learning how to hardy from Tryhard himself. He was definitely looking like one of the most confident users of the new hero, but it looks like potentially some of these players have actually held back on how much they knew, how well they were able to pilot hardy, and saved it for this very moment.
Definitely for this very moment here, as we're getting a chance to see Game 1's winner, Wang Liang. Average kills 2.4, almost 10k damage, and a 1.2 average ranking points here. So ranking currently for Wang Liang here, not too bad here. But for a player like Akuma, a little bit of a shocking performance to say the least here.
So, I have a theory about Akuma. We've talked about, you know, how unpredictable he can be. In MVPL, the most memorable games that we've seen have been when Akuma has gone for off-meta heroes, right? Things like the Karumi, things like the Valda F2. Akuma's entire MO is being unpredictable. He can't afford to show his hand now because there's still going to be so many days before we actually make it to Chengdu. Akuma knows that he's already qualified. Yes, he's not going to be, you know, coming in with so many different points, but as long as he can play that prediction game yet again, no one's going to know how to counter-strat into him. So for a lot of these players, it's sort of weighing up the risk of whether or not you want to actually expose your strategy here, knowing that these points are going to move forward, but it's only 50% of them. For some of these players, in their mind's eye, that justifies not showing all of their strategies, holding a lot back so that there is not VODs that prove what they've been doing and how they've been operating it. That then is going to affect all of the other teams around them's decision making is, oh my goodness, Cell's doing it. We're going to see the Viper Ning coming into solo Naraka play.
Definitely something we don't see often. Zelendate really being that one. You know, we talk about certain things, right? We talk about, it looks like Valda!
Hello, GG Shao. Oh, this makes me so happy. He, like, last time we saw him
you think you're happy? Valda, excuse me?
Darby, I guarantee I have more hours on Valda than you. I started as a Yoda main, and then I played...
That doesn't mean you don't appreciate her as much as I do, okay? You don't bring her flowers every night. You don't sing to. You don't serenade to her. I'm kidding. As we get back into the games here.
So that's all of the noise in your hotel room.
I knew you were going to do something like
when the moon hits your eye. Like a Valda V2, that's a water spear in your face that unfortunately only buys you 1 hit confirmation of CC, which is the entire reason. Oh my goodness, Darby, we're getting Matari.
From a let's see.
So this has actually been a sort of theory that Raven's had. He's thinking that Matari is actually going to be really strong into things like Hardy, and also, well, we know that Sal's going to be playing into that Viper. Matari with her ultimate immediately sidesteps any of the worry about it. It's essentially Phantom Step just on a much longer cooldown.
The question is it going to be viable?
Well, the question is, do you run into a Realm of Yang as a Matari and verse up against a Viper? Because instantly that is going to be a huge point of frustration coming through.
I mean, not
Zal
if you can
to
get
deal
out of the
with.
way, and you know, all you really have to do is get out of the way of the peripheral of the eye. In reality.
Well, Matari doesn't have to worry about that. Matari, your ultimate stealths you.
Oh, so then you really have the advantage. This
Yeah,
is a
that's-
very interesting
That's
choice
why
of
the
players.
Viper. That's why the Viper doesn't want to run into the Matari. The Matari is going to be incredibly happy though, because like if you go invisible, it's going to be harder for these Hardies to be able to track you. You can use the mobility of your blinks as well to play around the baiting out of the Hardies coming through with those triple charges, where they essentially pull their punches until you fall for it and you utilize that ability a little bit too early. That's the one real stress running into Hardies and Realm of Yang. That ult goes for so long. The V1 variation, I believe, goes for 25 seconds. That is a huge majority of Realm of Yang uptime that a lot of these players just don't have the time to be able to allow to just tick down.
This is going to be a really interesting circle here. We have at least 4 different picks of things that we just was never expecting. We have Kuma on Matari. We have a Viper from Zelending. Zelending definitely really bringing out those random choices.
Well, he
of some of
run
his players.
Viper. He's run Viper already this week.
I mean, that's true, but it's still kind of like, oh, I mean, he's done it actually twice in a session as well, too,
Yeah,
which is also
he
another
double-picked
surprising thing.
Viper.
Double pick Viper was another thing that really surprised us as well here. So Zelending definitely really being another wild card here, so Akuma has to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, Viper has a lot of actual mix-ups that you can do into your combo strings. It does require things like the F2 being available, so that you can go for those jump cancels into Focus Strike throwouts of things like Katana, but you can use that to be able to hit confirm into another uppercut, and then that just keeps going and going and going. F2 can actually be really strong. The thing that you have to remember is that Hardy, if he's... Oh, okay. It does look, because of a couple of malfunctions coming on through, that we are going to be starting to see the pick come through. Again, I'm going to be really sad if we don't get to see the Valda as a result, but I believe that GG
I don't think they're
Shara
switching up.
I think GG Shara is actually going to roll with it, mostly because we saw the Wuchen V2 variation come through from him a little bit earlier ago in this week, which I absolutely adored because he actually utilized it just the way I wanted to see it, which is Wuchen V2 into hit confirm, into uppercut extension off of something like Staff or Spear, into Pulsar Greatsword hot swap. And it was absolutely as devastating as I thought it could be.
Definitely devastating and a little unfortunate though with some of the tech issues, but sometimes that happens with everything. You can't always have a perfect broadcast.
It means that we get more anticipation to see all of these heroes come through, because we have a lot of Hardies, we have Valda, we have
Matari! Let's
we
talk
have
more
a
about this Matari.
Viper.
Let's talk more about this Matari. You said it's going to be the advantage between him and a Viper.
Yeah.
Obviously inside of the realm of Yang. So if we come into some of the other players here, and we still have a decent amount, you said that you think Matari could also counter Hottie?
Well, if you're able to find the backstab, right? That's the thing. Matari has so much mobility both inside and outside of the ultimate. It's going to really be interesting to see whether or not she takes the retrace version of the blink, which is essentially where you leave behind that silhouette, you blink away, and then you can actually recall back to it. You can get into the minds of some of these Hardy players, maybe try and bait them into thinking that they're going to go for that blink back, and they're going to have to then intercept with a triple charge. It essentially becomes a huge mind game between both of those two heroes. It's something that makes Matari incredibly enjoying to be able to watch both as casters, players, and viewers at home because of the avenues of escape and counterplay Matari brings to the table.
It's going to be interesting. Matari, we haven't really seen a Matari so far in solo play.
Yeah.
Most of the time when it comes to solo Mataris, most people think, oh, it's a Matari. Oh, that's not really like,
you know what's really funny as well? Matari used to be the absolute queen of solos meta.
Which I was there for. So yes, I understand that. So it's interesting to see that switch up over time, obviously with more heroes getting added to the game, more stories to be told, and obviously more combos, more picks, more ultis. So even with that though, still to be able to see that and noticing that at that time, Matari just didn't seem that viable. And now seeing that Hadi is back, and all of a sudden we're testing the Matari again.
Well, it's not necessarily a test to see whether or not she works into Hadi. Again, it is a whole thing of hero point rules in solos, and you have to remember as well as the 5 hero point rules, you do where you have to play 5 heroes, different heroes per game day. At least you also have the phase changes, as we are going to see that first phase go through. No mix-up, except one by Valda. We knew you so little. As Frostivus going to be locking in with that Justina free, Hardy's immediately taking him off of the table in phase 1. Zal sticking with that Viper. We still wait and see whether or not we get that Matari coming on through from DRG's Akuma. Is he going to go back to those off-meta niche picks? As WBG Spider and T25 going to be dropping in with that Takeda. Yep, there it is. DRG's Akuma coming in with the Justina. I would have loved to see the Matari come through. Do not get me wrong. But unfortunately, Matari had a time and a place, and it is not December 2023.
This is... couldn't even get my Valda. I'm sad. That was a moment. That was a moment in time. That was so much anticipation. There just had to be a problem. I'm sorry. Guys, we're going to be able to come back towards this one here. Looks like we're finally going to be able to log into our game here. So let's check out these hero picks. Let's check out the Vs and see what they pick as well for their players here. So far, it's been very good with a lot of different anticipation here. And let's see if they have the opportunity for it here.
T25 also coming in with that Cicada. I believe that's his double pick now going to be taken out of the way. A couple of Cicadas in the lobby, a lot of Hardys, however. So we do see some Tumultuous and Justinas as well. Will it be the traditional V2 that we now start to see all of these Justinas start to run on through? So if they get third party, they have the backup of the AoE freeze to be able to create that smoke screen and slip away behind the back of Frostivus. Going to be locking that one in. Action on the Tessa. V3 Tessa coming on through, so guaranteed to be able to find those CC connections. The trade-off being, unfortunately, that stun duration a lot less than both the V1 and also the heal a lot less than the V2, as we're going to see Akuma. There it is, V2 on the Justina. Frostivus also going to be locking F2 V2. Zell with the F2 V3 variation, which is pretty much what you have to pick as a Viper into solos.
Going to be interesting with the pick ratio here, as we do see the pick rate coming in for 18% coming up from Zell and Dink here. This is going to be the final game, and so far it's been really, really high strung for a lot of these moments here. And seeing as though Frostivus is the last of our NA region here, this is going to be a decent landing spot here, and so does the decent circle that's coming in all the way around. It's going to be a very interesting location here, as we see AOW's mic way off of the outskirts here. Same with XCG in the very far back section of the massive tower. And as KLA, looks like it's going to be off the hills as well. And it looks like in that center of Celestra is going to be OUG's Wang Liang. As it looks like we're still going to be rotating this in areas here, but it looks like GG Shaw landing very similar. Same with 5221's Unique, and same with Spider. So a lot of people opting to keep kind of the same landing spots where they was the first time. Let's see if that's going to be changing or doing anything different here, as we're going to see the aggression immediately pop off here in our 6th and final game of Naraka. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is going to determine what points and who is going to be leading the pack leading into our finals during the 16th and the 17th of this month for our grand finals for Naraka Blade Point.
XCG's Wang Liang and Mike are actually landing very close together. I do believe Akuma also going to be in the area. Mike able to pick himself up. He's got to be running luck glyphs. Purple weapon, purple staff, and blue armor coming on through. Wang Liang overholding to be able to force Mike off of that pistol. Going to be coming on through with the staff 1, 2. We see the Smolch F now being invested. Wang Liang able to break around the corner before the Wisp is going to scoop him up. Zal goes down off screen. The first casualty of the match is Mike with the pistol. Going to force Wang Liang into holding on to the right click. Mike able to find the parry. Wang Liang utilizing the F ability catches Mike into that Wisp. It's going to hold him in position, looking to try and find the uppercut conversion off of that staff, but Mike with the combo break of his own will be able to break on out of it. Mike taking so much damage, however, off of all of that coming on through since he did not have the combo break afterwards. Looks to try and find the uppercut, and Wang Liang is going to do the exact same as Mike. Both of these players on the same hero with the exact same escape strategy. Get stuck inside that uppercut, utilize the combo break to be able to get away. Mike potentially getting caught into that toothpick, going to use the F to be able to break off. Does catch Wang Liang, who cycles back into the F yet again. These tumulches are just going to continue going until one of them is able to find the combo string when the other doesn't have the F available, and that time is now, but unfortunately Mike is griefed out of the kill. I said Akuma was landing in the area, and Akuma comes in with the pistol to steal the kill. Now unfortunately not going to have the combo break on the free shot from utilizing that V2. Mike going to drop the Smolch ultimate. Akuma not wanting to dash on through. Justina into Smolch is a matchup that Akuma knows he cannot win when ultimates are going to be available. Now tries to come and pressure Mike, who's going to see the grapple connection and puts himself into the middle of his ultimate. Akuma still not able to find the follow-up. Cancels the ultimate to regenerate 60% of that charge and try and win out the sustained fight as Mike with the grapple cancel. Immediately we're going to see trying to push on forward. Akuma with the spacing on the R&B on the halberds, wanting to buy himself the time to be able to cycle back into the free shell form. Knows he's going to be vulnerable if Mike is able to find him into the uppercut conversion of the pole sword that he has in the back pocket, but the fight's gone on so long, Derby. We've got the third party coming through.
Taking so long. One of y'all got to get eliminated, or at least y'all start to separate, as Akuma now on the chopping block here, a little bit low on heals. He's going to have to force to pop the F key, and immediately does not actually use that to his advantage here for the re-shield here. Only was able to go for the quick reset here, and now T225 trying to see if they can close in the gap a little bit more. Waiting for the scale rush, but that longsword is able to push them off the top side here. He's got to be careful as now the third party starts to come in. T225 is going to close in this gap, trying to see if maybe they can main it. The ulti comes out, but Mike is going to come through, griefing that kill away from Mike yet again. This is Mike's second time trying to see if they can get the elimination, and sadly it's not going to be enough as now he decides to back off, but T225 is deeply on the pursuit. Doesn't want to let this elimination go here. Definitely wants to try to close this out and seize the opportunity and getting the elimination onto AOW's Mike. Nice hits coming through from the longsword. Beautiful reset, trying to see if they can close in this gap. Ends up catching him off the outskirts. Ends up getting third party here towards the back with the repeating crossbow. T225 ends up getting his shield swapped here as Akuma is going to come through with that salty run back. Immediately finding out if they maybe can. Trying to see if he can jumble it with the staff. Staff hitting some decent shots here. And now he's going to come back with the repeating. Immediately pulls out the longsword. Trying to see if they can close in the gap. Akuma is going to scale rush it all the way up top. Nice grapple. Trying to see if they can close it. Hits him so far off this outskirts, says, see you later, buddy. Do not try to push on me. I am not the guy you want to fight here. And now it looks like they're going to back off theirs and go for the reset.
Yeah, T225 cancelling the grapple so he doesn't get scooped into the purple. Like you said, going to back on off and find that reset opportunity. Zal coming in with the F2 connection, wanting to find the conversion, overholding onto that staff, finds the parry onto J-Team's action. The repulse damage doing so much action, having to utilize the F1 to look for the recovery. 1-2 uppercut conversion. Unfortunately, no greatsword or pole sword to be able to increase the damage afterwards, but action has been able to do enough, takes enough damage onto Zal that he permits the back away as JDG Shusheng coming in with the third party, turns now onto the Viper, a much more viable target in solos to be tracked down and jumped on. Then that Tesla, even if you're going for the third party and you know ultimates have been invested, the Viper V2 of V3 Varva costs 100% of it, the Tesla only costs 55%. Shusheng does not not want to turn on the Tessa as a result, and tries to track down Zal, who has to go incredibly high. T225, by the way, taking AOW's mic down off screen with the longsword. T225 incredibly close to being able to overtake the current leader, as Spider incredibly close to going down. Wang Liang also in the area. Spider on that Takeda, incredibly vulnerable to all of these hardies, able to utilize the movement and catch him no matter what rooftop he tries to run himself into. Spider holding the angle, going to look to Skull Rush away as Unique's attention has been diverted. Suddenly it's Unique versus Wang Liang, and Spider has a clean disengagement. Unique with the hardy ultimate going to get hit into that Tumult wind wall, losing all of that stamina. Spider now re-healed, decides to come back on in for the purple that he armor swapped out of in that disengagement. Will be able to pick it on up and slides immediately out of that. I do believe he utilized, his ultimate. It looks like he cancelled it a little bit early to be able to save on to some of that rage, knowing that there are players in the area, so wanting to try and take these fights. Unique, one of those targets that Spider could potentially turn on to, given the fact that he was able to burn the ultimate out from the hardy. Spider, however, not wanting to find that full commitment onto a fight. Realm of Yang incredibly close to spawning up for both of these players. No one wants to overstep until that portal pushes through.
Meanwhile, T225 looks like he possibly might be getting some extra loot here as well here. Preparing for the Realm of Yang here as he's going to close it in towards the circle, waiting for it. It's going to land directly in the center of it here. Timing it just so he can get it in here as the portal does come through. And he's going to be fighting himself with WBG Spider. And it looks like J-Team's Action OUG's Wang Liang. No, Panaman.
Debbie, this is a race. Both of these players do not have ultimate.
This is going to be interesting here to see who is actually going to be able to secure the elimination here with none of them having the ultis here. Let's see how much damage they're going to create in order to get their ultimate here. A minute left on the clock, minute and 5, should I say. It looks like they're just going to try to go a little bit more towards the ranged weapons here. Shield immediately trying to come through here. C225 doesn't want to force this fight if he needs to here. Waiting for the ulti to come through here as Spider has a little bit of the advantage. Oh, nice hits though to ricochet onto Spider. Spider now low on shield. It's going to be able to go through, but Action immediately has already won his Realm of Yang here. 45 seconds left on the clock as he closes in here with the staff. The staff is able to do a lot of damage here to get rid of the rest of the shield from Spider. Pops the ulti here. Spider now having the advantage, 97%, and now he has the full 100. Also is able to pop the ulti now. Both of them with the timing, and also their Ghost able to get the strikes going, but it looks like it might have been a little bit too late for T225 here, as Spider might have possibly popped the advantage here, getting that early. Nice strikes to do what he needs to, and Spider is going to take that advantage and claim that elimination and the results in the Realm of Yang.
And that's what we were talking about earlier when we said so many of these lines from Takeda relies on the ultimate being up. When both of those players took that Realm of Yang as a Takeda without that ultimate, they knew that they couldn't go for the active 1v1. They didn't know if the other Takeda had that ultimate. They did not want to put themselves into a position of finding out. So the ranged weapons came through, and Spider was able to come out on top. J-Team's Action now trying to find the connection onto Pandaman. Pandaman going to punish the fact that Action was in the air a little bit too long ahead of him, and is able to find the conversion into the LMB. Action overholding on those blue to be able to stop Pandaman from finding the grapple lockdown. We're going to see Pandaman with the overhold on the LMB. Tessa F1 now being forced. Both of these players taking the fight inside the no ult zone. Pandaman did not have the ultimate down before it came through. As a result, cannot use it now. We're going to see Action take so much damage. The clank coming through off of the dual halberds into the uppercut, into the bump, into the RMB. Dual halberds, that's a combo string you're going to be seeing plenty of inside the J-Cup 2023. It has been proving absolutely killer as WBG Spider has been able to cleanse himself of the, or rather didn't need to worry about cleansing himself of Yang depletion because he won. T225 actually in the position of needing to drop one of these players. Unique, definitely potentially one of those targets. With the Huddy ultimate, however, T225 has to take his eye off the lower health player, allow the reset to come through. Instead, he's going to try and jump on Spider.
Interesting choice here as Unique looks like he's going to decide to back off this here at T225. Try to see if he can close in this gap here as Spider trying to hold strong here as the nunchucks are able to do a massive amount of distraction here, and destruction gets destroyed by WBG Spider. Spider able to close in the gap, beautiful parry on a JDG Sustain, and immediately he's going to try to see if he can get some amazing hits off of him here, upping his ulti before he can separate and get out. Spider, 2 eliminations, 4 deep into this game already, is able to get the find and do it exactly what he needs to as we find the Viper, trying to see if he can time it for the stun here, and the stun is able to do a decent amount of damage here, but so does Wang Liang, and Wang Liang is going to actually eliminate Viper out of this game as well.
Yep, Cell unfortunately takes the fight against the Tumult, who was looking to just try and push that Viper into the wind wall. Even though the V3 comes through, he just doesn't have the armor to be able to survive that pressure coming on through. There's a reason we don't see Viper in solos all that often, and she works in trios when you have 2 players to be able to peel for her, as well as things like the Wu Chan wind wall to be able to dip in front of and get that shield sustainability. Alone, unfortunately, having that tether snap, it just unfortunately leaves that Viper way too vulnerable for players to be able to phase tanks down before the ultimate can properly come through and allow the Viper to control the narrative, as we're going to see J-Team's action able to walk away with the win earlier. We're going to see with that Tessa V3 coming on through. Frostivus looks like he's trying to keep a track of some of these players around him, playing onto that Justina, the V2, rather than the V1 variation coming through from him. He's potentially just going to have to play the long con. He's still on blue armor. He's not really looking to make himself a target. He just wants to play for the final zone claps to be able to lock down some of these players, especially since you haven't been able to find those kills early on. You don't want to try and take one of these Realm of Yangs. Having that Yang depletion has just proven so detrimental for all of the players ever since Jacob started.
So far, it's been very strenuous for some of these players here. But for Spider able to pop off here and really get the game that he needed to here. As it looks like GG Shaw and Akuma finding this out here as well by themselves. The fan versus the fan here. Nice strikes to be able to do it onto Akuma. Akuma trying to see if he can back off this as the Justina ulti starts to pop in. Question is, does he use his ulti to separate? Does he use it to absolutely freeze out on GG Shaw? Looks like he's not able to here as he pops it and is able to catch the freeze and ends up backing off this, trying to see if he can separate himself as the bells start to come through. Same thing with the bows.
Ballista kite? Yep, he's cutting to base of Ballista. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any dash left. V2 only has 2.
Unfortunate to catch it here as Wang Liang is going to be able to catch Akuma in this tough situation here. Now he's able to try to see if he can dip out of this, but it's not going to be enough as Akuma officially out of this game. The Realm of Yang starts to come through yet again for one last try here. Wang Liang, 2 eliminations deep here, and it looks like WBG Spider and Action fighting this out, the rematch that we have been wanting to see so far here. This is what I'm excited to see here, as now, even with that there, they're both going to time it all the way up top here. Nice defensive clangs here, trying to see if they can close this out. Pistol shots, trying to see if they can close it, but it's not going to be enough, as now it's just going to be dual halberds versus the nunchucks. The ulti comes through onto a beautiful ulti coming through onto Spider. Spider is going to be able to get the beautiful parry, immediately hits up with the 9-tailed fox as the ulti comes through. So does the Ghost, able to stop the stun and get the finish, and immediately is going to be able to go for the reset. Spider still having more shield though. Action trying to hold on for as long as possible, but it's not going to be enough as he hit the combo, and Spider is able to get the finish onto this and get another win inside of the Realm of Yang.
And that's why Takeda is the worst matchup for a tester to take inside the Realm of Yang. Spider, did you see it? He actually gets hit by the V3, the tether comes through into the solo, and he utilizes one of the shoves coming through from his ult to push the Tessa away from stopping him interacting in the urn and stopping that tether actually managing to snap and deal damage to him. Spider just utilizing the threat of that ultimate coming through from the Takeda, Action anticipating as a result the meter dump come through from the nunchucks, goes to try and clank it before it's able to hit into that golden charge. As a result, Spider able to cancel out of the focus strike into a parry. And unfortunately, Action is just not able to find any turnaround off of the ultimate activation either because of the Furin shoves, letting Spider regain control of all of that space. Very smart player coming through from our defending world champion of Spider, WBG. He used to be known for his zip. I really do feel, however, like his Takeda has just been absolutely improving ever since we saw it here. Last year is Action now on the prowl, has to try and drop one of these players. He's been able to find Frostivus, who was trying to play out of sight, out of mind. Unfortunately, Action's not going to be letting him away from this fight easily. He needs that Soul Bloom to drop for him to continue in this lobby. GG Shot also going to be showing on up for the third party, most likely in a similar situation. Action now, trying to turn onto the Justina Frostivus, able to dodge away, does get hit by the tether, utilizing the V2 to be able to control the spacing. Action going down, Frostivus able to stop the players from looking for the instant third party with the AoE freeze, threatening both of them if they try to move on forward. Frostivus holding on to the R&B on the longsword, gets it immediately reflected back into his face by Shah. Shah with the jump parry, able to stop Frostivus again from being able to regain control of that spacing, and now it's a 1v1. Wang Liang coming in, dropping the Tumultuous ultimate over the body to be able to loot through all of those resources and stop GG Shah from continuing the fight.
Unbelievable here. So unfortunate for Frostivus getting double teamed here in that situation here. Rarely was able to actually clean that up, but sadly gets parried by both Wang Liang here in that moment here, trying to see if they can hold strong here. Meanwhile, AOW's Mike, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. The desperation is going to start to set in for Mike here, even though he is still leading the pack here with that 37.8 here. Still trying to see if they can close in the gap here, as now he's just going to try to see if he can close it in with the dual halberds here. Unique just trying not to get eliminated here. He's down at the bottom of the barrel here. 4.1 points. Won't be able to have too many points to his name as we head over to Chengdu. But for Mike, he's going to plan to slow down this a little bit more as Unique gonna use that opportunity potentially to hit the scale rush. Maybe go for the shield here as he sees WBG Spider. Spider sees him first though, hits him with the pistol. Now he's going to try to see if he can rotate this out here. He's able to pop the full shield, and now he's going to use it towards his advantage here as AOW's Mike is going to be able to catch him. Beautiful F to be able to go for the reset here as he ends up getting parried. Spider all the way up top, dangerously low, trying to see if he can get out of here as best as possible here, waiting for it. And also the Cicada pops out though. And now Unique has the opportunity to maybe dip out of here as best as possible, but everybody knows he's dangerously low. They're not going to let him go. They're absolutely going to push onto him. This is about as worse as a mother trying to get away from all of the solicitors here, trying to get that extra buck. You have to be able to rotate this around as Unique, trying to hold on strong here. The pistol shot trying to connect it, but it looks like AOW's Mike is going to be able to capture his second elimination of this game. Now he gets pushed by WBG Spider. This is the fight that we love to see here as Mike trying to see if he can bounce back out this, but Spider wants that fight here. He's going to try to see if he can close in the gap here. Almost is able to hit him with the downward hit from the nunchucks, but he's just a little bit faster here with those dual halberds. Scaling off the wall, trying to see if he can dip out here. And he has completely lost Wang Liang and GG Shaw. GG Shaw is nowhere to be found, and probably Wang Liang's going, where'd the boys go? Where'd they go?
Well, Spider knows this is Mike. Spider very much is familiar with Mike's movement pattern. He knows how aggressive a player Mike is going to be, so he's not going to let this tumult slip away. And Spider trying to find that connection. Mike very wisely kiting the fight onto the cliff edge so that Takeda loses a lot of value off of the ultimate combo extensions. Mike unfortunately having to put himself onto the low ground, trying again to get back to that cliff face to stop Spider from being able to find the value. He's going to utilize the F. He's going to utilize the ultimate. Mike dropping in with the tumult ultimate as well. They've drawn the attention of GG Shaw also now coming into the area, and as a result it does look like, yep, Spider is going to allow Mike to leave. He had a window of opportunity. There's a reason that he actually turns off of Mike and starts chasing Unique. He identifies that Mike is pushing onto that kill so desperately that he has to be under Yang depletion, and as a result he tries to find the kill onto the Hardy, knowing that Mike in that timer is going to potentially go down to Yang depletion if he doesn't manage to find the kill and the bloom. Unfortunately for Spider, because he puts that pressure onto Unique, he forces the Hardy into utilizing the F2 and it sends him directly into Mike's hands, who's able to find the kill and able to pick up the soul bloom. As GG Shah gonna be putting himself into the sky. Hardy ultimate coming for his Spider, swapping on over to the pistol to try to chunk this Hardy down! What a use of the V1! The Takeda shove catching Shah mid-air, able to knock him out of the flight, deal enough damage to temporarily ground him. Spider not able, unfortunately, to translate it into a full kill, but Shah now entirely out of the ultimate.
That fire damage though, doing a lot in that moment here, just so now he could be able to separate himself for enough time to be able to re-heal and re-shield here. I'm gonna try to see if he can get some extra shield as well for him, knowing that in this moment it's definitely going to be the last of this game here. Spider leading the pack with 5 eliminations, but let's not sleep on Wang Liang with that 4 here. This could be huge for Spider if he ends up getting it today with a dub, as Wang Ling is going to come through. Beautiful, strong start here with that fan. Gold shield, absolutely decimating. Beautiful boomerang to be able to connect that one as well. Finds the gray shielding swap just to be able to get a little bit of a diversion here. Wang Liang not going to make it easy for Spider to try to separate, as he does have that gold katana. And now both of them on the end skirts, trying to see if he can hit it. Nice defensive claim coming in from Wang Liang. Wang Liang trying to see if he can hold onto it. Misses out on the opportunity as he sees the scale rush coming through from Spider. Spider opting to the opportunity for it. Pops the ulti here, trying to get the slow. Hits the grapple. Doesn't fully commit to it, knowing that Spider's probably waiting for him to be able to hit that. Potentially with the parry. And now Spider is going to be able to head back up top here. Wang Ling's going to decide he's going to dip out of here. Not to get caught up here. And I'm still curious. Spider and Shaw are gone.
I mean, Spider played that perfectly. He knew he's coming under pressure because, like he said, he had to go for the armor swap onto the gray, but he actually overholds on the focus strike on that katana and then cancels out of it to be able to frame through the wisp coming through on the tumult, and then he's also able to use the focus strike cancel to be able to carry himself outside of the tumult ultimate before it hits. Really good stuff coming through from him, knowing inside and out the spacing and radius of the tumult ultimate that Wang Liang is going to be potentially looking to lock Spider down when he is viable and vulnerable for a kill. So we're now going to see Spider with the ultimate activation of that Takeda try and lock Shah down. Shah immediately maneuvering himself so he's not going to get those fear and shoves, pushing him into that zone corruption tick damage. Spider has not cancelled the ultimate. Okay, there we go. Spider does indeed cancel the ultimate, sees the opportunity to be able to get the jump on Shah has been removed, cancels out of it the second that he can to be able to save the ultimate generation of 80% of that ultimate. He knows he's going to be taking pressure from all of these players in the area. Takeda, when that zone collapses, gets so much value off of having those shoves, knocking these players back into the corruption tick, and as a result, Spider has to play incredibly quietly. Unfortunately for him, however, he's been spotted by Mike. This is a player who's not going to allow Spider to be able to find the reset. He was fighting a Takeda earlier. Ooh. He knows that Takeda is Spider, and he's not going to allow Spider to slip away. Spider able to find a blue armor reset. GG Shah actually anticipating and intercepting Mike before he's able to find the lockdown onto Spider. Tumult Wisp's going to be invested. Combo Breaker used. Spider able to find the F connection onto Wang Liang. Going to see the ultimate come on through. Are we going to see the Fury and Shells being utilized? Uppercut comes through, baiting the Tumult out of that Combo Breaker early. Spider looking for the shove connection into that katana. Going to go down to the purple scoop of the staff.
What a finish coming through. Spider's going to hold on to that 4th place position here for this game here, but he does have the 5 eliminations here. Wang Liang trying to see if he can close in this gap here. Beautiful hits coming through as GG Shaw gets absolutely sent, forcing him to pop the ulti and decide he needs to dip out of here as best as humanly possible. GG Shaw now in the air, trying to see if he can bounce back and forth between him and Mike, as Mike gets absolutely destroyed here in this moment here. The question is, are they going to actually go for the target here, as it looks like they might be able to, as Wang Liang is going to use that as his advantage. Beautiful hits off that, and it just like that, Wang Liang is able to capture his 6th elimination. He could particularly win this game between him and Shaw and get this 1st place and be leading into the pack here, coming into it, and he might be able to as he forces the ulti. GG Shaw with the parry, almost catches him on the outskirts. He's stuck on the storm, and Shaw is going to shut down Wang Liang in the final game, but it does not matter because Wang Liang is going to be the MVP of this final match, is able to capture enough eliminations, gets that 2nd place, maximizes his opportunity. He gets the 1st game, he gets his game number 6, and most likely he is going to be our number 1 winner, leading to Chengdu.
That is a very happy Wang Liang. That is a huge contrast. I mean, when we last saw him, he was not happy at all. He knew that he had all of the kills, all of the loot loadout to lead into converting into late game MVP, and he was denied it by T225. However, Wang Liang now able to find the MVP, played it absolutely perfectly. Yet again, he sees Spider